cons. I actually wanted to watch. There's a video that Papa Meat did about conventions, and the shit he says is so eloquent. It's so much like I agree with it, and I kind of wanted to watch it together. Um, so, and I already watched it once, so this isn't going to be like my raw reaction, but it's just I've been wanting to talk about it. So, uh, I think we're going to do that. Um, stream, I did schedule stream to be about 3 hours. I do want to try to finish this start to finish. But we'll see. Um, we shall see on that. Okay. Let me get Mr. Papa Meat. I really like Papa Meat. I think he does cool stuff. I watch kind of every video that he comes out with. It's just him talking about shit, and he's really funny. Um, Here we go. Comic Cons. Obviously, sort of a clickbait title, but whatever. We do click. I don't care about clickbait in this house. I don't give a shit. You gotta make your bag. Ah! His merch. Okay. While we draw, we're gonna listen to his video talking about conventions. But yeah, this is a YouTube channel, Papa Meat. We'll put that here so that way you guys can watch it. Uh, Good videos. I enjoy them. Very funny. They also have a spooky podcast called Creepcast and like all sorts of stuff. But it's Meat Canyon, the guy who like animates cool stuff. What's really funny, I didn't even know Meat Canyon like existed. I was just like, oh, there's just some guy here who I found the Papa Meat channel first and not Meat Canyon. So I had no clue that this guy like did animations that were really popular back in the day. I had no idea. No idea whatsoever. Okay.
The If I Beat That Yuppies, You Gon' Tell on Me shirt was added just to our collection, and pre-orders end April 26th. So get yours before time runs out. Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? Come in and sit on down because today we're going to be talking about comic conventions, Comic-Cons. There are all sorts of cons around the globe where people meet to celebrate their...
Oh, Anime Expo. Anime Expo was actually like the second con I ever attended. I attended Anime Expo with like me and my friends, and it was super fun. I had I cosplayed like, oh my god, did I draw this on the wrong layer? Krilling myself. Exploding and dying. God. God. Hang on, everybody. I gotta fix this. It's okay. Here. I just realized I had music over this, so let me pause the music here. Okay.
Love of shared interest, but none are as popular or as influential as Comic-Con. The fan convention dates as far back as the 1960s and has evolved into one of the biggest annual events existing today. Throughout the 4-day event, over 100,000 fans continue to celebrate pop culture in all of its forms. But this is just one con of many. In fact, there are all sorts of local conventions that allow people from even the smallest towns to be a part of this experience.
Garage Con? That sounds interesting. Yeah, there's like honestly the local scene is a lot better than so you make more money at like the larger comic conventions, but the cons that I've had the best experiences at, like as an artist, have been furry conventions and small conventions. You don't make a lot of money, but the experiences you have and the customers that you have are just make it like so much more worth it. Um so uh that's like that'd be like my first thing to say. Which I think Papa Meat says something similar, and I 100% agree with him on that front.
However, these conventions are not without their problems.
The fucking 3D print shit. Those mother fuckers. I fucking so like I genuinely feel bad for people who 3D print stuff and they actually like they actually design the stuff themselves. There is a guy at one of the horror conventions that I table at who does 3D prints, and I've seen him a couple times, and he does really good 3D prints, and he makes like the models himself and everything. And I remember talking with him about it, and he like is like, yeah, because it gives us like a really bad name because they get lumped in with like these 3D printed dragon frog fidget toy slop. Um, and people automatically think that that's who he is, which is not. And I do genuinely feel bad for them. I also genuinely feel bad for uh crochet goods, like crochet makers, um as well, who get lumped into drop shippers, you know. I think that that really sucks, like in general. um like I feel bad for them. I do wish that there was like a makers market that cons did, to where like it would be similar to an artist alley, but that would be where like the 3D print guys and where the crochet guys go, because there's not like a lot of, especially in artist alleys, there's not a lot of um cohesion with where people go. And I've had times where like I'm right next to like a crochet maker, or I'm right next to like a book author. Um and I understand wanting that form of variety, but the first thing that you because I've done retail merchandising, the one thing that you learn that's really important when you retail merchandise is grouping and keeping like things with the like things. There's a reason why there's a kitchen section, there's a dining section, there's the grocery store aisle has all of like the rice and the pasta together, and all the meats and poultry are in one section, because people, when they're shopping, they want things that are easy to find, and they want um so they know exactly where to go to buy that thing. Because deciding to buy stuff can be sometimes a long decision or a split second decision. And in terms of selling, obviously you want to make money, so you would much rather have them have a split second decision buying than a long term thinking buying. They even do this with cars, where like the same models are put together and all that kind of stuff. And with artist alleys, they don't put it together with the artist in mind or the sellers in mind. The people who fucking paid a ton of money to have their stuff there, they just kind of like throw people around. And um so whenever a con does actually group artists with artists, I do really appreciate it, because then it shows that they actually like give a shit. um but on like I think that that would be an improvement. That's where like, the 3D print guys can go, the crafters can go. I understand wanting that variety, because then it like cons can sometimes feel like going through a thrift store sort of deal, but I just think it would be better for the sellers. But it's not, they don't they don't give a shit about us. They don't care. I uh or it's not about the sellers making money, it's about the con making money. So whatever doesn't make them money, then it doesn't really matter, which is unfortunately just the way that it is. It's the way of the world.
Not only are they becoming more widely popular and densely packed, but the shift to a broader focus on pop culture over just comics has slowly driven many people away. And it goes without saying that putting many obsessive fans and collectors in the same place can lead to some imaginable horrors, all right? So, grab your badges and fresh stick of deodorant.
I've actually never oh, okay, yeah, the deodorant thing. Oh god. I know he goes into the smell thing. I'll talk about the smell. I'll talk about the stonky in that bit, but there's I've had my fair share. I haven't had a lot of horror stories, honestly. Most people are very nice, they're very polite. They come up, they compliment your work. They you have a nice chat and then you leave, or um I haven't like had a lot of rude people. I've only had like a couple of instances where people were rude, but it was never like, it's just, it's just the bad ones get remembered then sometimes than the good experiences. I think I try to think about all of the good experiences, but the smell thing is true. It's some of you motherfuckers. I please. And this is coming from a guy who if I forget my deodorant, I can be stinky. This is coming from a stinky fat dude, okay? I'm a fat fuck, all right? And fat fucks tend to stink. And like, for the love of God, please just fucking bathe.
As we trudge through the chaos that is Comic-Con. And we wanted to do this video because we just recently went to Kansas City Comic-Con, Planet Comic-Con, and we were selling Margarets. We do have a Margaret toy for people who don't.
Oh, also, I love that in every single photo that he was in, he stands like he's horrified. It's so funny. I think if that ever happens where people like want to take a picture with me or whatever, I gotta do like a funny face or something.
Kansas City Comic-Con, Planet Comic-Con, and we were selling Margarets. We do have a Margaret toy
Margaret.
for people who don't know, and it was a lot of fun.
I love
but
Margaret.
I will say, does it even feel like Comic-Con anymore? It feels like just a celebrity meet and greet. Also, $120 to meet to what? To take a photo?
To meet Frodo himself?
Well, dude, they
$120. Okay, yes, this is what I wanted to fucking talk about. The fucking um pricing that these fucking cons do for signatures is egregious. Absolutely fucking insane. I don't. So, like, okay, I will tell my story now about meeting Alex Hirsch, all right, for Emerald City Comic Con. Which, by the way, I am not like a signing guy. Like, I'm not really all for signatures or whatever. Usually, if I'm going in line to like see a voice actor or a celebrity I like, it's because I'm giving them merchandise. I just like giving my merch to people who voice characters that I like. It's just I just do this for the love of the game, all right? Um and I never expected anything out of it, obviously. But so we waited 4 hours. So I got there because it started at 11, right? I go there at like 10:30, and people are already lining up, which, like, I mean, to be expected. Um, and like, so I was in the overflow line, at the start of the overflow line, like already at 10:30, it already filled up. And unfortunately, Mr. Hirsch was late, um, which whatever. Guy's late. Shit happens. I'm not gonna fucking fall him for that. And then while we're waiting in line, um, basically the issue is that the con overbooked the amount of people for the signings, and each signing was like $60-$70. I was getting something signed for my friend, and then I was just giving all the Gravity Falls merch that I have. So yeah, like a strong little soldier. And cramming us in there like sardines, but they overbooked because they don't, they just want to make because I'm sure like part of it is the actor gets paid, but they also like they get a cut of it or whatever. But Mr. Hirsch like wanted to make sure that everybody's moment with him was memorable. However, unfortunately, because there is like 300 or 400 people, trying to make a memorable moment with people for 10 minutes in line, 10 minutes each person, um doesn't really work, which is very unfortunate. And like, and the staff wasn't like moving things along and that sort of thing. And you know, which is kind of an issue. However, if they just like capped it at like 100 people or something like that, you know, or to where like literally because he was late and because the signings were were taking so long. He even had to, I think he probably wound up doing like a 12-hour day because he tried to stay to get as long as he possibly could so like everybody could get their stuff signed and get what they pay for. And in the end, like Emerald City had to refund people. And it's like, what is the point of doing like what is the point of overselling the tickets if you're just going to refund them later anyway? Why not just cap it? Like the fact that I could buy a signing ticket while I was standing there in line and there was already at least 200 to 300 people is like, it's insane. And like, and it's just a money grab. But for him, it was reasonable. Do you know how much it was for the guy who plays Gus Fring, who I always forget his name, but he was $120. $120 to wait in line for hours to get something signed by an actor on like uh, like and yes, you are talking like yes, as an actor, you are sitting there, you're talking to a lot of people. You have to be nice. You have to make sure that everybody has a memorable moment. Like it's not like the easiest thing in the world. I do want them to be compensated fairly for their work. But $120 for an actor who is a millionaire? Like, come on now. And I don't know if it's the actor or it's the agent or whatever. There's somebody taking that money. There's somebody taking that money, and it's probably the person who did the least amount of work because that tends to be what it is. But I don't know, and I'm not going to say that I know because I don't. I don't know where all that money goes. I don't know how it works. If there's somebody like if I decide to post like this reaction on YouTube or whatever, if somebody in the comments like does know and wants to say so, then they can. Um and say like why that's so expensive. But I don't really understand when like some like Alex Hirsch, who is also technically a celebrity, was like $60 or $70, or like from what I know, the stars or the actor chooses it. So like why is it so expensive? I don't understand. I don't get it. And if I'm paying $120 to get like a picture or get something signed, like I don't want to have to wait in line for like 2 billion hours because they fucking overbooked tickets and then they're like, "Oh, actually you can't do the thing that you paid to do and you're sitting in line all day waiting to do this thing." And it's like, actually you can't get your stuff signed and you wasted an entire day of the con." And you know what happens when that happens? Because they wasted an entire day of the con because the con overbooked tickets because they just wanted the money up front. Then all those people who waited 8 hours in line are not going out and shopping. So it affects everybody. It doesn't just it's so, oh my God. I don't remember this being such a problem. Like, I mean, I didn't really do celebrity stuff like growing up into the art into like cons and stuff like that when um like in the 2010s. But if this has always been like this, then like let me know. But I don't think it's always been like this.
Did Frodo and fucking Samwise Gamgee whatever as one. I think that was like $400 to do a paired photo.
$400. $400 for that. I better get a framed photo with me and Frodo and like and Gamby or whatever the other guy's name is. I don't watch Lord of the Rings. Um, if I'm paying $400, that shit better be like mailed to my house in like a golden frame and signed. Like if I'm paying $400, oh my God, why?
For like a 60-second interaction. Hey, oh, I love your movie. Hey, thank you. And you get ushered across. Is that not the great? Also, I saw Bruce Dickinson at the Kansas City Comic Con. He's the lead singer of Iron Maiden.
Oh.
Has 5 like platinum albums. What do you charge $150 to sign an album? Isn't that crazy? Jacob, who works here, he went to sign his and he was like, "Oh, hey Bruce, how you doing?" He was like, "Oh." He just signed it and that was it. That was it, right? That was it. Oh, you're a big fan. I'll be fine. I feel like conventions as a whole, we need to. The only ones I like now are they keep trimming them to where now they become even more like the niche conventions are the ones I go to. Like I like toy conventions, like little like underground.
Furry conventions. I'm telling y'all, furry conventions are where it's fucking at. Okay. Say what you want about furries. They treat their artists and like and their stars or whatever. Um, it they treat them well. You will be treated like a king. Okay. I've only tabled at one furry convention, and so I don't draw a lot of furry stuff, but I'm like furry adjacent, adjacent. Like I draw like cute cats and that kind of thing. So but I tabled at like Anthro Northwest, and not only did I get like instead of like a plastic little badge, I got like this like medallion, which was super cool. I also got this like we got a free dinner like on Saturday. It was like a free buffet dinner. And it wasn't like a shit one. It was like a fancy one that the hotel had. There was like mac and cheese and mini pumpkin pies. And like what was also really cool was that the vendor hall and the artist alley halls were different hours. So the vendor hall was between like 11 to 6 like a normal vendor hall day. But then after it closed, the artist alley would open, and you would only be open for 4 hours. So like everybody who was in the vendor hall got funneled into the artist alley. Like I do which I thought was a really cool idea, and I wish more events did something like that. Um or at the very least like keep the exhibitor and the artist alley halls like close together is another thing that I like. Uh this is I think especially for like a smaller convention, I wish more smaller cons did something like that. For large conventions like soccer con and stuff where there's like a bazillion people, it doesn't really make sense, but something that's like a lot smaller, I would love that. And also a free fucking dinner, free food. Please give me free food. I love food.
Where it's like I went to a GI. This is very cringe. I went to a GI Joe convention one time, not because I like GI Joes, but because there was just like small toy vendors there, and you're able to look at all. It was cool.
My
You go to that shit
toys.
and you're like, what the fuck is this even from? And that guy like floats out of the darkness, and he's like, so actually that was like an import from Sweden. They only did like 300 of these, so it's like that kind of thing. And I like that. I'm not even the biggest comic guy, but it does feel weird going to a comic book convention and it's like that's the back burner. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares about the comics? It's all about the 3D printed dragons.
3D printed dragons, the same art prints and posters, Funko Pops, and did we say 3D dragons? A lot of 3D printed dragons. It's unfucking believable. One of the main
So
appeals
many.
of attending a comic convention is the prospect of finding a cool piece of art or merch. Sadly, the Artist Alley is one of the most neglected parts of the con experience, according to both staff and attendees, which I will say, Artist Alley is one of the loneliest, saddest places on earth. I want to look at people's art and walk through there, but I do hate it because it feels like I'm at like a dog shelter. You know what I mean? Where you like look at one, you catch somebody in the eye, they're like,
And they have puppy dog eyes.
So I do most conventions in the Pacific Northwest. So I think Pacific Northwest and like the West Coast, it's a lot different because there's always at least like some cool event happening a month, like a month here on the West Coast. Um, so the art scene is like really lively here. I but there are some cons I've gone to where I've definitely looked like a sad, pathetic wet dog, just like, please buy from me. Please, I want to make a sale. Like I'm just like I'm just like genuinely looking like a depressed, like sad fucking fucking thing. Um and I don't mean to. Like it's definite, but it's happened for sure. It's but I genuinely feel for the people who table in the Midwest because oof, I've heard things. I've driven through the Midwest. It's very gormless over there.
Well, it's like come buy something. I mean, it feels like take me home,
Yeah.
doesn't it? It feels like that though. And you sit there, and I always feel like, and I feel bad because I feel like I have to throw out a comment. Oh, I like the pens. Each year, hundreds of artists and creators pay good money to attend comic conventions to sell their own art and prints from their favorite fandoms. However, what was once a focal point of the convention has now been seemingly pushed to the side. At numerous events, the Artist Alley has been moved far from the main vendor floor with no signs to direct attendees, leaving most Artist Alley a barren wasteland, which is an even bigger kick in the teeth when
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I had to pay $600 to get a table up here. $600 if I flew in.
The most expensive is SoccerCon. SoccerCon, I've had to pay $500 to table at SoccerCon. I did make about 2.2 grand at that show, which was pretty good. But yeah, tables, um, there's a lot of tables can range between $300 to $500, and it's gotten worse and worse over the years. It's gotten real bad.
And how much money do I have to even break even? You know what I mean? Well, thank God I brought my prints and my sketchbook. It's like unfucking real, and then yeah, they put you in the shadow. The power. It's like a motion activated light in the back of the convention. It's super dark. Everyone's just sitting there like sitting at their table like this.
Actually, this actually happened. I wasn't tabling. I was attending at Soccer Con, and one year they had they had a bunch of artists like put in like there's the main artist alley hall, and then there was like an overflow area for the artists at like the below floor. Um and there was one artist who was under the stairs, and their overhead light was broken. So they were just sitting in like the fucking dark. Like just it was horrible.
You could sit and like work on your comic.
Yeah, you could have done that at home. You could have done that at home, just taken a picture. I mean, it's the biggest scam that conventions do. I feel like is making them charge. They charge so much for a fucking table. Prime real estate, all the way in the back.
And then you have to pay $80 for Wi-Fi every day.
Yeah,
The
I
fucking
couldn't
Wi-Fi
fucking
shit,
believe that.
dude.
Sometimes their designated spots have poor Wi-Fi, making sales take forever or nearly impossible to complete with like a little square reader. It's fucking obnoxious. And even if you have a successful weekend at your booth, there are still tons of random problems that many artists don't account for. For example, comic publishers from Japan and the US send agents to conventions to shut down any booth selling any unauthorized merchandise.
I've personally never dealt with this. Personally. I'm sure I will. It's only my second year, but I've personally never had that happen to me. But I also don't make a lot like Nintendo. If you make anything Nintendo, uh good luck. Is what I say to you. Good luck. Um God fucking speed, my guy. As if like if you make anything from Nintendo, um Nintendo will get your ass 100% for sure.
A fucking Midwest comic convention. You. Like an FBI agent or like a Men in Black. Is this your Naruto drawing? Yeah. Now you don't know how to draw. This video is sponsored by Incogni. These days it's hard to go anywhere where your data can't be found. With a quick scan of the internet, scammers and data brokers can find your home address and phone number, and criminals can open up lines of credit and file tax returns in your name. And that's why, for my peace of mind, I use Incogni. It's never good when your personal data gets out. Even if they aren't stealing from you, these people can use information to stalk, threaten, and harass you. This is unfortunate unfortunately something that has come up in my own life, and to protect myself and my family, I need to make sure it doesn't happen again. Which is why Incogni's new custom removal feature is such a relief. If I find a site with my information on it, I can send it in Incogni, and their privacy experts work to get it removed. And it helps me find where my personal information is exposed on search engine sites to help wipe them away too. It can take years to scrub information off the web manually. Let Incogni do the messy work for you. Go to incogni.com/papameat and use code papameat for 60% off. Incogni helps wipe yourself from the internet. They can't harm you if they can't find you. Click the link below to claim your 60% off and get your personal data off the market. Thank you to Incogni for sponsoring this video. Now back to the video. Some event organizers will set up events near the artist alley that directly distract from their booths. Like when one convention scheduled a 3-hour wrestling event right in front of the artist's booths, drawing away.
I've had this happen as well. There was one event where I was outside and they had performers, and the performers were blocking the entrance to our booth like the whole time. Like the entire time. Whew.
All their potential customers and costing them money. Hey, to be fair, it's kind of sweet.
You think putting an event like that would be like, hey, go do Artist Alley, though, right? That's what my thing is. It's like, if there's something in the middle of Artist Alley, people have to go through there and walk through.
I think that they should put it to where you have to walk through to get to the vendors you want to do, so then they can experience and look at the stuff.
Correct. Like, part of the reason why exhibit hall is as expensive as it is because usually where the exhibit hall is where the celebrities are for signings. So it's quote unquote primer. It's like better real estate is how they justify it, I feel. Which it's not really how I personally would do it, but it's like each their own. But that's why. So you walk through the exhibitors to get to the signing people. And the people who didn't pay as much get put to the into the back. There's actually one con that I tabled at where I can't really say much because the booth price wasn't that bad, but like my spot was all the way in the back, and I just stared at a wall for like 8 hours. I made like $300 for the for the entire con.
There's some conventions where they'll put those motherfuckers on a totally different floor.
Yeah.
Like, this is the main floor, and then upstairs something's happening. I don't know what it is. It's that kind of thing. Which, to be fair, there are a lot of people who are like, the artists, though, who go there, and they're like, they feel slighted. It's like, what do you expect? What do you expect by this point, you know? I guess the wrestling match took away all my money. It's like, yeah, dude, the wrestling match is way cooler than the fucking Joker print you have. Sorry. That's the reality of the situation. Many creators are left.
I mean, he kind of has a point, unfortunately. It's he kind of has a point. Like that's why usually my when I'm doing cons, I'm just hoping to make back profit. And but being actually treated well, and where the con has like my best interests in mind for most times, if it happens, I get really happy about it, but my expectations are almost always dinosaur bones. To dinosaur bones. But I will say most, like, 99% of the time whenever I did have an issue and I went to staff about it, or like tangentially was with staffs at cons are unspoken heroes. They are God's strongest soldiers, and I've never had issues really with like staff or anything like that. Most of they're polite. They do their job. There are definitely, because some people are volunteers and they're just there to get like their free ticket and that's it. You do get the occasional like rude person, but for the most part, like I've never had issues. Staff's always been really helpful. if I had questions or that sort of thing. So it's kind of it's a two-way street sort of deal, but and like I do think that maybe instead like you could have just politely asked the if they knew that there was the wrestling thing, you could just ask like you don't have to like just post it online and like if you did mention it and you're like hey to the staff, you know, like hey, uh it was blocking my sales or whatever, like you could talk to them about it. Like you don't have to just sit there and just like languish in it. um and especially just like post it online, you know, you could talk to people, you could just because most of the time they're reasonable. Most people are reasonable. There's not I've never personally had issues like with the people who are the performers or whatever. We could have said something like or I could have said something or like we could have asked um but you know, I didn't want to like cause trouble or what have you, which is not a thing that you know, I it's something that I have to work on too. But uh like and also like if the artist alley is that bad, like and it's like if they're treating you that poorly and the showrunner and you're not making any money and the showrunners like are treating you that bad, the extra $200 to $300 that you might make, it just isn't worth it. And you could just leave. You can go. You could just leave. There's not yeah, you're gonna be banned from the con forever, but like you don't gotta deal with with the bad ones. You don't have to table at the bad ones. Um, you know, like the especially bad ones. You could yeah, you can leave. Um, but inadvertently, yes, I do think that cons should be treating artists fairly. I don't think the way that they're most of the time we're shoved to the side, we're shoved to the back corner. Um, you know, our comfort isn't in mind. We are not able to take some places. They they don't even do they don't like we can't really take breaks or you know or go to eat or what have you. We're standing there for 10 to 12 hours a day selling our art and that kind of thing. Like um but you know, but there's a lot of bad ones, but there's a lot of good ones too. And the good ones, they do treat the artists well. You are able to take breaks. Staff will show up to help you out. And it's just a matter of picking and choosing which one is right for you and which one fits for you. And then if one's bad, you just never show up again. There was like with me, I first started in like tiny little local markets until the local markets got like oversaturated with like drop shippers and AI art and that kind of stuff and the 3D printed dragons. And I I didn't want to do that anymore, so I hopped out. And it takes a while, but you can curate um cons and events that do treat you right and do treat you well and you do give your money to them and you make money and it's you know you're like a little clownfish and they're the sea anemone sort of situation. But basically that's my point is essentially um it's not all bad. um if it is bad, most staff is nice, or you know can make it more bearable. um there's only like a few cons that I know of that are like just Wasabi Con, for example, is horrible. That's what I've heard is terrible. I've never tabled at it, but I heard it was really bad. Like literal rats in a parking lot. Bad.
Frustrated by these ongoing difficulties, and some are choosing to pack up and leave conventions early because it's no longer worth their time. It's not just the con making it hard for artists, but the artists themselves. At certain cons, staff are now having to remove booths from Artist Alley because they bring obnoxious lighting and sound setups that annoy nearby artists and attendees. What would they even be? What sounds would they have? Just jungle sounds?
Yeah.
There was actually, I think it was ALA or some different some con. Somebody had like I had to hear like a dungeon meshy esque mimic noise every 5 to 15 minutes. which was a little crazy. Um, I do think though, because it's a con, it's gonna be loud. There are a lot of people talking. I usually just bring headphones. I wear headphones. I have so it dampens the noise for me, so I don't get like too irritated. But this was before I did that stuff, so that was rough. That was a rough time.
Also, obnoxious lights. You're in a fully lit room. What could I mean, if it was a strobe
I
light,
think that's what
if
it
I
is.
was sitting across from a strobe light and I had to look at it all day, I might complain as well. But I mean, what else? What the fuck else do you want it to be?
Can't they just tell them to turn it off? The staff? Oh no, you can't do that.
Maybe that sounds like what they're maybe doing is telling them to take it down. I don't know.
I thought they were kicking them out and banning them for life.
No, you can. If they do actually kick you out, just for like asking for a comfort change, then there's something wrong with the convention. Just to answer what they were wondering about. There are conventions that do that, but most of them don't. Um, as long as it's reasonable, obviously. You can't like walk in there and be like, "Oh, hello, I want a plush pillow that is made out of feathery down bird feather, and it specifically needs to be from a geese and not goose. And I would like caviar given to my give, given to my table, and I want a personal butler named uh GV that GV Stevie um that will bring me snacks." Like you can't be too crazy, but uh I've but you can definitely talk to them. You won't get banned, and if you do, then that's kind of that's on the con organizer.
maybe, maybe it's just that immediate jump. Get out of here and never come back forever until the end of time. This can include massive displays which are deemed dangerous because they are unstable and hang over walkways. What are these? I can't like is this like Kanye's like stage setup, you know what I mean? Where it like
Oh,
hovers over the crowd.
have you seen his new stage? It's a fucking
Orb.
globe. Yeah.
It's insane.
What
It has
the
like
fuck?
random holes that shoots out smoke and stuff.
I think it spins too,
Jesus.
because he walks and plays.
It spins?
I think so.
Good fucking lord. Don't put that in Artist Alley, is all I gotta say. On the other side, fans who attend these conventions are starting to dislike Artist Alley because they're all selling them the same prints. And very rarely do people bring original works of art anymore, which is true. A lot of the times, it's a
I hate being like the actually. I think this is just because it's like a different this has like been a common discussion thing among artist circles. Like, oh, there's too much Genshins, there's too much of like this certain fandom and this certain thing. Um maybe maybe it's just me. I I mean, there is like yes and no. It's basically one of those like yes and no things where like yes, I agree, but also like I think I just have like a completely different experience because like when I'm tabling, I sell like a lot of niche stuff. I sell like Cookie Run, which is starting to pick up, but like the things for me that sold were not like the were not like the what is it? Were not uh oh my god. I'm so sorry. I'm starting to peter out. We'll probably once we I don't know. I have a lot to say, and I'm only 10 minutes through. We'll probably end stream pretty soon, just so I'm not going insane, and then we'll pick up where we left off on the video tomorrow. But basically, what I was trying to say was that like when I did sell stuff that was popular, like I made like Honkai Star Rail charms or whatever. Um, or Genshin Impact stickers, they would barely move. Like they would not sell like whatsoever. And but when I moved to like niche stuff, like my cryptids and my cookie run and that kind of stuff, that's what started selling for me. And I can see that there is some like uniqueness happening in the artist alleys over time, I think. But I can definitely see where people are coming from because yeah, there is an oversaturation of like, if you go to a Comic Con, there's gonna be a lot of like DC comics of like the popular guys, like oh, and my iPad's dying. So I'll finish my point and then we'll wrap up stream for the time being and then continue on afterwards so my iPad can charge and I can rest. But essentially that uh I think it's something that is going to change over time. I think people um as they start drawing what they like, which sometimes can just be the popular thing instead of chasing whatever is the popular anime trend or what have you. And uh I think it's changing essentially. I don't think it's going to be a mainstay per se. I don't but I definitely can see the criticism and I definitely can agree with it in a lot of aspects, but I don't know, maybe the Pacific Northwest is just like some weird like microcosm or something, but like I see usually a lot of variety like when I go to the artist alleys. And a lot of like different styles and stuff uh whenever I'm tabling or whenever I'm there are Sally's, but that might be something that's totally different. Anyway, I feel like I just went, oh, Pippa pats. Okay, I will pet Pippa. Um oh, Pippa has disappeared. I will give Pippa pats when I get off stream, and I promise I will. I promise I will. Thank you for the bits. Um anyway, we're going to continue with this video tomorrow. Hello everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever time it is in your time zone. Welcome to the stream. If you weren't here yesterday, we were watching this video from Papa Meat.
I think it spins too.
Sorry. From Papa Meat talking about Comic Cons. And we were able to finish because I got too tired. I am a little tired today. I I had to give a friend a ride to the airport super early in the morning, and wasn't able to fall asleep until like 4 in the morning. So I'm a little tired. I tried to finish this Pivy off stream, but I couldn't. So we're gonna be finishing him and finishing up this Papa Meat video talking about Comic Cons, and then after that we're probably gonna listen to some music. Probably talk about the boys finale. That's about all I got on the docket today. And then see how much we can get through, and then see how much we can finish this Pivy. I hope to finish him. I'm a little behind, so I want to finish him in Truthless Recluse today, but Truthless Recluse might be for something off stream. And then tomorrow we got Final Fantasy 14. We're gonna be playing some Final Fantasy, some final Fantasy, final bussy, final the most final of fantasies. Is what we're going to be playing. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. All right, let's begin.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you for the wow. Thank you for the wow. Oh, Kirby, you're gonna be in the one of the reels that I have for that I edited. You're gonna be starring a starring role. Okay, there we go. I was trying to align my VTuber with my camera. Okay. All right. Let's go. So, people who weren't here for the stream yesterday, the basics was they Papa Meat, he's Meat Canyon. He talks about random stuff, and he talked about Comic Cons, and I thought as a Comic Con artist myself, it would be interesting to talk about it and say my perspective and my points. Um, and oh, and just as an aside, if I say something that I'm like, actually, it's not like a diss or anything. It's just my perspective. That's it. I have no beef. I actually love this guy's content, so, you know, just saying, you can disagree with people or disagree with what somebody is saying, but not, you know, but not want to like fight them or whatever. Oh my god. I don't know why the fuck my tracking is not it's not going good, but whatever. Okay.
Because he walks and plays.
It spins?
I think so.
Good fucking lord. Don't put that in Artist Alley, is all I gotta say. On the other side, fans who attend these conventions are starting to dislike Artist Alley because they're all selling them the same print.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna actually read these because I didn't read these last stream. Um, one of the saddest things I see at Comic Cons is the lack of new graphic novels and comics in Artist Alley. Walking the floor this morning up and down Artist Alley, which could be renamed all the same type of prints alley, I looked at every artist table. Many who are super talented hiding behind their prints and whining why sales are down. As I looked, I noticed there were no new books, no new stories, and no new creative visual adventures, which is a shame. The fear of doing your own art. I would hope more artists and creators would take the plunge and tell the stories they have inside. Make Artist Alley with enjoyable and adventurous again. Go be creative. See, I understand this take. And as somebody who sells original OC work and comics, you want to know what sells for me? Not that. I mean, when I did sell my own comic or whatever, it actually 10 books sold pretty quickly, like within a month. I was really surprised. Like the actual physical comics themselves sold pretty well and pretty decently. So in that point, I do agree. I think people, and I love buying like original work. I have literal collections of people's like our OC charms and that sort of thing. But some artists just don't want to draw that. Like they don't want to draw original comics or graphic novels. And like most of the original artwork that I see that do sell at artist alleys are like really, like a corgi running through like a meadow print, or like a, you know, it's something like very cutesy. Um which, by the way, nothing wrong with that. I have tons of prints like that. I love art like that. But if you're over here complaining about not seeing original works and not seeing original comics at these conventions anymore, then like talk with your wallet, man. Like that's my opinion. Is just like if you're upset that you don't see these, then then talk with your wallet. And then they're like, "Oh, the person's whining about there being no sales," but I mean, like if that's the case, then yeah, that is on the artist. Like if the artist is not, like if they're just like, i think I think people can tell when you're selling shit that you're not passionate about, that you're just doing it because it's like the popular thing, like um like people can tell when you're not like passionate about the characters, or you're not passionate about the work that you're doing, and you're just doing what's popular. And it like and it can read through that, and people tend to not want to buy from you because you're not like, it's not fun to talk to. Like a lot of the times when I do get sales and I'm at conventions is because I like talked with a fan or that sort of thing. Which, by the way, if an artist, like at least in my case, if I'm like yapping at you or whatever at a table, that isn't me. Like, yes, I love to appreciate a sale, but sometimes I just want to talk because I'm sitting behind a table like for 8 to 12 hours a day and saying the same, like, "Oh, can I help you find anything?" Or, "Oh, let me know if you have any questions," like repeating the same thing over and over. Like sometimes I'm just excited to like talk to other fans and that kind of thing. So if an artist is ever like yapping at you, like never feel like you have to buy something. we never, at least in my case, I love to yap. I don't care if you didn't buy anything from me. Yes, most of the time when I do converse with people, it does translate into a sale, but I'm hoping it translates to a sale because they enjoy the work itself and not because they feel like they have to because, oh, well, I talked to this artist for like 10 to 15 minutes and I feel bad now. So like a pity sale. Like I hate that shit. I don't feel like you have to do that. And if you do feel like an artist is pressuring you to do a sale or whatever, that's not, I completely disagree with that selling strategy. I don't think it's good. Um, okay, Kirby said, I used to sell OC and comics and stuff too, and it was so fucking hard to get people to bite. At least with my Blurbos, the fan comics and merch is easier to sell and comes with the built-in autism on both parties. Exactly. Like, because it's already has like a built-in thing. Like, there's someone who's already a fan of it, so they're more likely to buy it. And there is definitely a market for OC merch. Do not get me wrong. Like for original works or original creations, like there are people who specifically, I mean, like me, who are insane, and I love original comics and stuff, and I'll buy like art books of like people's OCs and signs and that sort of thing because I really enjoy that. And it does make me sad that there's not a lot of variety in that aspect. But like sometimes it's like, dude's gotta you gotta pay the bills. Like like um like yeah, no, exactly. With absolutely people can tell when you're selling shit you're not passionate about. I also see my ghost shit always selling, even during periods of people not giving a shit at cons. It makes no goddamn sense to have ghosts there. Yeah, exactly. I always get like my cookies. I'm telling y'all, my cookies, my Blurbingtons, they sell. It's really funny because I'm just as passionate about FF14, but that usually doesn't sell a lot for me. It has lately though. My chort stickers have gone crazy. It makes me very happy. Um, I keep having to make chorts. There's just 10 billion chorts.
And very rarely do people bring original works of art anymore.
Okay, here's another one. The sad truth is that AnimeCon artist alleys weren't built to sell zines and sequential comics. They were built to sell prints. I wish we worked harder to make zines a part of AnimeCons back when it was easier to change course, because then they're responding to. It's funny that you say this because Japanese company reps also run American AAs and wonder why the hell no one's making anime or manga doshini and exclusively making fan merch or art instead. They get really confused because they expected extension of zine culture. Yeah, and it's like I said, a lot of it is because it wasn't tailored to that, I don't think, but it's also because like at least at least I was in like I've been reading web comics for like since I was probably like 12, 13. um and the comic culture, like the online original work comic culture, was really more online than it was in in person. Okay, give me just a second. Okay, sorry. I think the lighting was fucking up my tracking. But like the online, um, what is it? I feel like that the original comics scene was kind of more online than it was in person, and I think the pivotal change point was when um was because like I think if comic conventions had more like web comic artists on when the web comics were really big back in the early 2000s. Now I could be wrong. They could have been doing this at cons and I just didn't know. But like or like really invested into that, I think we would have more of a Dushini Zine original work um sort of area in Artist Alley, but like but we don't. And the thing is though is also another point is that like unless you're like a super famous comic artist that works for like DC or Marvel, I've seen it all the time where like there'll be like regular fan artist print booths or whatever, and those are crowded constantly, and then you see the guy with like maybe like 10 or 5 comics, and bro's just kind of sitting there and watching tumbleweeds go by. That's what I mean, is it's like, if you want something, then talk with your wallet, and don't just complain online about it. But if you say that, then they'll be like, oh well, I'm not interested in that, or like, um or I think the people that tend to infuriate me the most. Oh, do I pronounce it wrong? I apologize if I do. Um, do Yeah, I thought it's pronounced Doshini. Is it not? Well, my bad. If it's not pronounced like that. How do you pronounce it? I'm gonna look this up. Open new. See. Pronunciation. Let me see. Oh, Dojinsi she is how you pronounce. Oh, well, Dojinshi. Okay. Oops. Well, my bad. Sorry. Um, thanks, man. Uh, but that's just my personal like opinion. But basically, what I was gonna say before I got distracted was the people who like piss me off the most are the people who are like, I'm sick and tired of seeing all of this stuff, and oh, like, artists are so expensive. Ugh. Everything's so expensive. Why are the artists charging this much for this stuff? It's just a drawing. I could do that at home. And then they turn around and they're like, "Oh yeah, let me buy this Funko Pop piece of plastic that was made in a factory for like $100, way more than its original value, and then pay $400 to a movie star who doesn't need the fucking $400 um to get it signed." And then I'll like, you're and they don't blink an eye. They're like, "Yeah, this is fine." I understand with the movie star, because it's like they have attributed like, what is it? They have attributed memories from watching whatever the star, like the movie star, produced or whatever. But I just see people buying hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars for pieces of plastic, and then they'll turn around and be like, $5 for a sticker? $15 for a charm? Want $25 for an art print? This is far too expensive. You should charge less. Fucking hate it. Can't fucking stand it. Pisses me the fuck off to no end.
Which is true. A lot of the times, that's another thing with these conventions, is it's these vendors who are going from cons to cons, but I feel like they're all getting stuff from the same supplier, so everything
Yeah.
looks the exact same.
Or there's just
Yeah.
trends. Like
100%.
everybody has a Joker thing.
A Joker,
or
an
Chainsaw
anime
Man.
thing, or yeah. Whatever's the hot thing, they all are selling that exact same thing. In the last few years, AI art has also flooded conventions, leading more people to lose interest. And thankfully, Comic-Con has come out in support of artists and banned the sale of AI art and content at their events. That is, however, only going to apply to people who get caught, which also I think a lot of conventions aren't going to give a fuck after a while. I don't know. I can't tell. I don't even know. Couldn't tell you.
Honestly, there are a lot of cons that don't care. They say on paper, they're like, "Oh, I don't like AI art. AI art is bad." But like, there's always at least like one or two uh in the last couple of years. And not in Artist Alley. Artist Alley, maybe there's like one at some events I've gone to. I think they're a little bit more careful about checking an Artist Alley, because I mean, it is fucking called Artist Alley. Like, you would assume when you go there that everybody has actually drawn the things that they are selling, because that's what that's what you would think it would be called. It's kind of in the name, but in terms um in terms of like um oh my god, I fucking thought I was doing so well, you guys. I was doing so well. I keep getting distracted. Okay, sorry. I in terms of but in terms there we go. In terms of exhibitor spaces, um exhibitor spaces, I know they don't. Those bitches don't fucking check at all. And with I don't think that they check. I really don't. Because the amount of times I've gone into exhibitor halls and there's always at least like two or three booths that have AA art. And there's usually nothing that's really done about it. Um like even if you complain, they're just like, "Oh, well, I'll stay there and then we'll just ban them after the show." It's because they don't want like to leave an empty spot, which I can kind of understand, and they don't want to like to cause like a scene or whatever. But I respect cons who actually kick people out over it, like Dragon Con did. That was what that one of the photos was. Was one of the people at Dragon Con was caught for AI art. And it could be really like it could be really hard to detect. Like the best way that to really do it is to actually, unless you literally call each and every artist that you apply to and force them to like draw physically on a piece of paper and not digital whatsoever, and then stream them doing that, which most cons have thousands upon thousands of applications. There's just no way to actually get it through. But I do think that there are definitely showrunners who don't give a shit whatsoever. Like they don't care. They see it and they're like, "Oh, it's whatever." It's like it's whatever. That actually, but it's worse. It's 10 times worse in artist outdoor markets. I so like I used to go the last 2 years, I used to go and table at a lot of these like usually it's local, they're like little small local events that are like out of like a like a store, or they just like put one block on a street or whatever, and you pay to show up, and it's supposed to be kind of like a flea market but for like artists, in a way. And the amount of times I had to sit there with all of my stuff that I've drawn myself and sitting across from somebody who had some disgusting AI slop on a t-shirt, and then seeing, oh, I couldn't stand it any longer, and that I couldn't do it. And no matter how many times uh these like people who do these shows that you charge like $100 to $200 to go outside on an outdoor tent and sit in the weather and the sun, and no matter how many times you're like, "Hey, can you maybe put in a little more effort and not accept like these obviously drop shippers and these AI art guys," and you keep seeing it every week you go to this event, and it's the same guy still fucking there. You just get sick and tired of it. And then the people who go to these markets, who originally wanted actual art from actual artisans and artists, they just see all the AI slop and they're just like, "Oh, I'm just not gonna show up." And then uh and then the only people who do show up are the people who just buy the slop, and they just don't care. They either can't tell or they just don't give a shit. And in the end, the people who actually put effort into their work suffer for it. And that's why I don't do a lot of outdoor markets. Um and uh I don't table at a lot of them anymore. There's one specific one that I will not name, but there is one specific one that I did almost twice a month, and I used to make pretty decent money at it. And then over time, the organizer just kept accepting more and more drop shippers and more AI artists to the point where I was making literally, I would go out there and sit there for 6 to 8 hours, sometimes in 90-degree weather, and make maybe $300. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I really dislike. I think that those event organizers, whether they realize it or not, are scamming their vendors, and they could care less because you know, they get the profit and the clout from running these cool thrifty outdoor markets. It's a really big problem especially in the West Coast. And yeah, and I could talk about it because I don't plan on ever going back to those people again. So I don't really care if this technically burns the bridge. I'm never tabling at these events ever again.
Yeah, all right. Go ahead. There still exist many artists who have positive experiences in the alley, being able to meet with other artists and make money doing what they love. Some of you might be wondering why the artist alley has been so forgotten by the event's organizers. Well, a big reason for that is that the slot being sold in the vendor halls bring in so much money in its place. Nowadays, if you attend any con or public event, you are bound to find tables of 3D printed garbage. And listen, I love 3D printed things, but it's the same idea of the vendors. They're all using the same files and printing the same shit to where now, when I see a 3D printed dragon, I have a full-blown panic attack. You know what I mean?
If it makes you feel better, I've seen comments complaining about those booths in particular. As much as I hate the AI witch hunt when it comes to real artists, I appreciate there's people who care. Yeah, I do too. I think one of my favorite things when I was one of the last times I was at one of these like outdoor market events. I was right next to an AI art booth, and a bunch of kids walked by it, and they were like, "Ew, ew, that's AI. Ew, it's disgusting. Ew, gross." Nasty, like they were loudly like just pointing and making fun of them. And I think that the kids are right. While I don't think that you should witch hunt, there are ways that you can tell when it's AI. And usually the way I tell that it's AI, and sometimes it's getting harder and harder, but when it's real life AI, it's usually just too fantastical for it to be true. Like the other day I saw like a photo of like it was like, this is the cutest fridge ever, and it was like a Hello Kitty themed fridge from Costco or whatever. And I was like, I don't I don't think Costco ever never sold something like that. And like I zoomed in on the image, and the way that they did the Costco sign was like never any signage that Costco ever does. And there were tons of inconsistencies like on the fridge itself. And then I was like, oh, okay, so this is AI generated. All right. Or it's like, but when it's art, almost always the AI art copies a certain style, the semi-realistic Disney style, which by the way, artists who do have that style, I feel so bad. But usually I can tell simply just because I don't see any like, there's just something that like oozes from it. Like some sort of like disgusting evil curse. like like a cursed object. There's like no soul. There's like no passion. You don't there's just it just feels like the eyes usually just feel so empty and soulless. And that's usually when I can tell that it's AI. It's just kind of like a gut. It's like a gut feeling personally, but I do not think for me and other artists it's because we draw and we know like the craft or whatever. Um but I don't think that if you are not an artist, you should automatically assume or think that it's AI or that sort of thing. If you ever are at a con and you think that someone is selling AI art, if you have like an artist friend, I would show it to them and then they can usually tell. I won't. And if they suspect it, then you can always tell the con organizers, and they can investigate on their own. Which I personally, if I was a con organizer and that happened, um, if I like walked up and literally I'm seeing the person like physically drawing from like sketch or whatever, then I'm not like I'm not gonna confront the artists if I can. But if I have to confront them, I literally would bring a piece of paper and a pencil and just like shove it to them. And I'm like, okay, draw the image exactly how you drew it on this print right here. And I think like the pure fear and aura, knowing that they're gonna get caught because they can't recreate it, would be so fucking funny. That's what I would do personally. Is I would literally bring like a physical pen and paper and pencil, and then if they refuse, then it's like, oh, okay, I got you. Like, okay, I got you. Like, hook, line, and sinker, buddy. Be like, oh, do you take live? Like another good way was probably like walking up and being like, do you take like live commissions, like that you physically draw at your table, like without any digital thing, um, and uh, you know, like and like I'd specifically love if you could do like a live doodle commission of like Luffy or whatever, and I'd love to do it, and I'll pay you like $10 if you do this for me. And if they're like, if they keep refusing, then I'd be like, okay, well, you were accused of doing AI, so I need you to draw this so I know, you know. And then if they keep refusing after that, then it's like, okay, you're banned. That's how I would do it. I think that's the only way. That's the only way.
I see him strung up, and I feel like I'm like a fucking Vietnam vet. I get all claustrophobic. I have to leave. It's anytime.
Fucking hate those
dude,
fucking
I've been seeing them
things.
at antique malls.
Yeah, yeah.
What the?
Why?
Why the
Why are they at antique malls, brother? Why the fuck are they there? You oh, it's so they're so fucking scary, bro. It's like a fucking jump scare every fucking time I see a fucking 3D printed dragon. Like, and I don't even understand because they're like I don't understand the appeal of them. Like genuinely, I do not understand the appeal because like I think it's just like I think they're just capitalizing on like little kids and seeing like a toy and like wanting the toy. But like I'm sure I bet you $5 there's someone secretly watching this stream or watching like this YouTube VOD or whatever who's gonna be like I have a collection of my 3D printed dragons. I have every single one. I have every single one in the set. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Oh, fuck me. There we go. I have every single 3D printed dragon to have ever been made that ever existed. I I love them. There's like this guy like just sitting there with like 10 billion 3D printed dragons like on his desk, and he's just like, "Well, I like them." Oh my god, where the fuck? Sorry, I'm still learning where my hotkeys are. Okay, that's that guy. Okay, I need to do like a cheat sheet. Anyway, which by the way, if you do, oh, I really hope that they're not eating it. Oh, that sucks. Cause it's not safe for kids.
You have like a weird, there's like a fucking Ronald McDonald sign, and all of a sudden there's a full booth of just fucking 3D printed dragons and beetles.
It's probably like the shop owner's like nephew or something.
I
Can't they put my 3D printed stuff in here?
Here's the thing though, is it's never one. It's like it's so many to the point where I'm like, how much? I mean, how much filament and time went into these fucking dragons, dude? It's unreal.
Too
These
many.
booths have taken over comic
Too
conventions,
fucking
offering
many.
overpriced items like fidget dragon prints, busts of popular characters, and decorative swords, some of which are going for $50 or more. What do you think about the whole sword? Remember we went to that? We went to like a card collection convention.
I think the swords are cool. I'm not gonna lie. I think, however, I think what would be even cooler, especially if you're doing like a Renaissance fair kind of thing, is like an actual like blacksmith sword. Bruh, I would pay top dollar to have a real cool blacksmith sword, you know? Not like the plastic like recreations of like sword from like a Zelda game. I mean like an actual fucking sword that was made but was like forged by a fucking blacksmith. I would that would go so hard. Like like I genuinely like if it was like paying like 100 plus for that, I'd pay 100 plus for that. But for like a plastic 3D printed sword, like unless it was like heavily detailed, like an FF14 uh cosplay prop, I wouldn't pay more than like 50 maybe. And that's pushing it.
That we did
Oh,
on
yeah, and they had
our Media
swords.
Magic, there was like a fucking giant booth.
Oh, there's multiple.
Laid out like a fucking like a Nigerian arms salesman. I was like, holy fuck! There's keyblades and Final Fantasy swords. He's like, pick which one you like. Should I get the keyblade?
You would look mean with the keyblade.
Keyblade with the
your
Naruto.
back.
I love his fucking Naruto headband.
It was great. I thought I was on the set of fucking Blood Diamond for a second, looking at all these goddamn swords.
I guess if you're a fan of it, I wouldn't buy a sword.
If I was a kid,
yeah.
I guess to be fair, if I was like that was like my big appeal going to the Renaissance Fair when I was a kid, getting like the wooden swords and the foam swords and that kind of stuff. So I guess I could see it. I was always
I want something like that. I want like an honest to God sword. Like hang that on my fucking wall. That'd be fucking awesome. You know how like there's like a meme of like Southern moms having like a wall of crosses. I want a wall of swords, okay?
typed whenever someone had like the like an Aragorn sword.
Or like Kratos's blades.
Oh yeah,
You
the
pulled
Chaos
those
blades or
out?
something. Yeah, I would be so stoked. Those are not even the worst things sold on the vendor floor. In recent years, Labubus and other blind boxes have taken over the sales floor, with Pop Mart usually having massive booths at comic conventions.
Okay. I have to defend the I can't lie. I am a blind box guy. I love a little guy. I love a little figure. I mean, some of the blind box prices are fucking outrageous. Like, I'm not spending like 50 plus on them, but what I really like is there's like this one booth that goes around in like the Pacific Northwest, and I specifically at cons only shop at their blind box booth because they have a rule where if the display one was the blind box figure you wanted and you pulled one you didn't want, you can switch with the display figure. And it's super fun. And I love that like aspect of blind boxes. And I can't even are an easy way to merchant. Yeah. And I can't even and I like I'm guilty of this. I have blind bag charms like um and but I think doing stuff like that is nicer on the consumer side of it is like, oh yeah, you don't make as much money, but it's better for your conscience, I think. Like I have a thing where like if they pay like I sell like these mystery cryptid charms, like little phone charms, right? But if you buy multiples and you get doubles, you're allowed to switch out. And then also you can pay like an extra dollar to just skip it and then just buy the one you want. And that tends to go really successful for me. And it's also so that I'm not feeding into people's like gambling addictions. So there's that. Um but yeah, I'm guilty of this. It's a good I can't even.
Trendy items like Labubus will likely fade away within 5 years. Funko Pops, however, are a permanent fixture, dominating the vendor floor.
They will literally never die. The day that the Funko Pops die, I I think like would be a sign of the end times. Uh just in general.
Like a goddamn cancer. Which if you here's the thing.
Oh.
Never mind.
What?
Man. If you like Funko Pops is one thing, but I wish that there was a thing where they're like, I wish conventions would be like, we have two. There's two vendors that do the Funko Pops.
Please.
It's everywhere. It's fucking every booth you go by. To the point, and you know what's weird is I'll even do a couple laps throughout the day or do whatever. None of them sell. How? I want to actually know if there's someone who sells Funko Pops and that watches our videos at a convention, how much honestly are you selling? Because every time I go by, I never see anyone holding. Actually, that's not true. If there's an actor there who is of that's
yeah.
I'm like, and if anything, just bring those Funko Pops. I saw like a fucking Art the Clown one because that dude was there. And it's like, oh, that's the perfect thing if you want to get signed. But then it's just it's the ugliest fucking little creature in a box you've ever seen. I'd rather have like a print or something signed, but I digress.
Yeah, I'm not really like a get signed guy. But if I did get something signed, it would be like a print that I could frame. And I do have a couple of signatures, like the voice actress for Lamont. And I have a signed print from like Michael Myers because I thought it would be funny. Because I have a print of him going moshi moshi, and I thought it would be funny to have the original Michael Myers sign that. But other than that, I'm not super big on signatures. But honestly, I find signed Funko Pops just tacky. I like no hate to the people who like them, but like if you're unless it's like signed like on the Funko Pop itself, it's usually like signed on the box. And it's like, what's the point of having a figure? It's just gonna languish in the plastic box forever. Like, that's the one thing I don't as a figure collector myself, as someone who likes figures, I don't have Funko Pops. I prefer like minifigures and anime figures and stuff. But like every single I've kept some of the boxes of my figures, but I've never just kept them in the box and just sitting there. What is the point? Like, and it's like, oh well, if you take it out of the box, it's gonna lose its value. Like, I do this for the love of the game, baby. I don't do this because I want to sell it. Like I understand a bit for like Monster High dolls, for example, if like the box positioning is really pretty. Like there's some Monster High doll boxes that are so gorgeous that I'm just like, yeah, I'd feel bad taking it out of the box. I think growing up I had a Barbie that was like that. It was like a collector's edition, like 2000 something Barbie, and I'm pretty sure I remember keeping it in the box just because it was so pretty looking that I just didn't want to take it out. But like in the end, these are collectibles and stuff to like display on your shelf. And if you get something signed on the Funko Pop, it's gonna cover the Funko Pop. So like, what's the point? I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand the value of that. Like, 'cause sometimes the actor will put the signature like right over the Funko Pop's face or whatever. I would find it more interesting if it was like directly signed on the Funko Pop or on the foot or something like that. So like it's a talking piece. So like if you're like you waddle over to like your Art the Clown Funko Pop, right? And you're like, yeah, and it's signed, and you like lift up one of his feet and it shows like a little signature or like something creative like that. That's cool. Like, but on the box it's just kind of lame. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. It's like it would be like signing the box, like getting a baseball signed by like a baseball guy, but you have him sign the box of the baseball and not the baseball itself. Like, what happens if like the box gets wet or whatever? Like every every time his message sellers about getting dolls for me, they get so shocked and upset when he tells them I'm planning on taking it out of the box. Like, sorry, I actually enjoy them, want to look and pose them. They are toys. They are toys. Like the skull lectors, you could say, like, well, those are collector's items. They're literally made to be collector's items. Like that I understand. But so I understand wanting them, like keeping them in the box and that sort of thing. But a lot of like the Monster High dolls, they are toys that are supposed to be played with by children. Like, you're supposed to play with them and pose them and make them look cute and customize them and all this kind of stuff. I remember I saw there was somebody online who was customizing one of the Skulllector, the Xenomorph. Like, and some people in the comments were like so pissed about it that they were customizing it, and then they were giving her green hair and like new makeup, and like it was really well done and like artfully done, and people were so mad about it when, like, honestly, first of all, it's their fucking doll, they bought it, they could do whatever the fuck that they want with it, and second of all, like, I honestly, if I was super into collecting the dolls, I would definitely spend way more for a custom one that was like custom made and that's like unique to me than, say, just the same exact fucking doll in the box. Like, it doesn't make sense. Um, like it just like I think I, like I know the only Skelectors I'm currently interested in are the Valentine and Spectre one, because I love Valentine. I love him specifically, and they only released one doll for him that's like $1 billion, and I'm not spending that much on a doll. But bitch, as soon as I get that fucking Valentine and Speldon, they are immediately coming out of the box and they are immediately going to be fucking posed, and I'm gonna make them kiss. Like, and that's another thing too. When I decorate like my figures and stuff like that, I love showing like a story on each of my shelves, and like when they pose, like that's part of the fun of it. I don't So keeping them in the bot, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand. You're not here for the love of the game. You're like, I don't understand it. Like, I just don't get it.
Could you imagine going up to an actor and they hand you a Funko Pop to sign? You know, just like,
if someone came to me and they're like, could you sign my Funko Pop of you? I make jokes about me shooting myself all the time, but you know what I would do. As soon as you
I think if there was a Funko Pop of me to sign, if so, like, listen, that if I ever got a figure made of me, like, which honestly is the dream. I'd love a Belle figure. Like, are you fucking kidding? But if I got big enough where someone made a fucking hellish Funko Pop of Belle, which now that I'm thinking of it, I'm like, I should make like a Funko Pop Vtuber model. It would look so fucking. It would look so scary. With the red eyes, he'd look fucking terrifying. Oh my god. Anyway, and someone came up and asked me, "Can you sign my Funko Pop?" I am taking that shit out of the box immediately, and I'm signing directly on the fucking Funko Pop, okay? I am not fucking signing it on the plastic. That thing is coming out of the box. And if they're like, and I'm like, no. If you're gonna have me sign a fucking Funko Pop, I'm gonna fucking write on the figure itself. I don't care. You are going to write on the figure itself and you're going to display it, and you will take it out of its box prison. And if I see you trying to sell it on the secondary market, I will name and shame you on twitter.com. I've literally seen people resell artist merch that was like exclusive plushes or something for like hundreds of dollars, and I'm just like, you will never see the gates of heaven. You will never see the gates of heaven. Like, I personally am totally fine. Like, for example, I send them to all the time if I see my friends like like charms and stuff on Mercari. I'm totally fine with people reselling like my merch personally. However, you sell that shit for the same price that you bought it as. That's my that's my opinion, because it's just it just feels bad. You're kind of semi grifting from like a small business or whatever. Like, it's kind of nasty. It feels nasty. It don't feel good. It feels gross. Um so yeah, and if I go on Mercari a lot. I love going on Mercari. Uh I love looking at thing and seeing like, oh my god, how much this piece of plastic costs. It's like a fun game for me. So if I ever make like an exclusive plush or something like that, um, and I see that shit trying to be resold on fucking Mercari for hundreds of dollars, I am shaming you. I am shaming you. You are not seeing the gates of heaven. If there's anything that I ever make that gets scalped, you are not seeing God. The only God you will see is me bursting into your home and punching you in the face.
Walk through the venue doors, your eyes will be met with Funko Pops stacked to the ceiling at countless booths. I mean, it's like a fucking wall of Funkos. What's even crazier is that they are resellers and not even like official booths. It's just people upselling you Funko Pops blatantly to your face. Oh yeah, I'm gonna charge 5% extra. I've had people say that to me. Well, I gotta charge 5% extra because to keep making the booth fee. No one's making you be here. You're putting that on me, the customer. Okay, it would be understandable to have 2 or 3 booths, but the plastic figurines cover the entire floor and can even be found at booths unrelated to Funko Pops, even like comic booths or anything. Still, tons of Funkos. Funko, once again, has ruined my day. Some vendors resell their exclusive Funkos, which can show price tags up to
$40,000. Do I need to say anything? Do I need to say anything that hasn't already been fucking said? $40,000. That's the amount I've made in a year when I worked at my IT job. That's it. I think the silence speaks for my feelings.
$1,000 for a single Funko. And we have covered the insanity of Funko Pops before. However, if someone is going to pay for an item that expensive, you'd think it'd be a genuine movie prop or like a rare comic at one of these conventions instead of just a rare Funko. And if they're that popular, why is there not just, this is just...
Actually, I am curious. I'm wondering if like rare DVDs is like a market. Because there's like a lot of DVD sellers at conventions and stuff too, especially like horror conventions. And I, for honestly, they usually sell like really cool, like vintage merchandise and that sort of thing that they've like collected over time. And I don't really lump those guys in with like the Funko Pop guys, because usually they're like actually passionate about the media and the stuff that they collected, kind of thing. And you always like find like you can find like just like really cool shit. But I'm wondering if there is like a rare DVD market out there. I'm actually curious about this. Hang on. I'm gonna Google this. I'm gonna Google. I'm I'm gonna the great Googling. The great googly boogly. Okay. Rarest DVD in the world. DVD in the world cost. Lists of rare DVDs. Own forever picks and how to find. Okay, give me. Damn. Okay, so yeah, there's some that it's not bad. Okay. Um Oh, so a lot of these look like okay, so yeah, a lot of these look like DVDs from what's the word? From like music artists and stuff like that, like tour DVDs and shit that sell for like thousands of dollars. So there is a market for it. Not crazy, but there is a market for it.
The Funko convention. I'm saying a touring thing that's as regular as Comic Con. See, just push those out. That way, if you see it at one of the other conventions,
Please.
you have every right to stone them. We go into archaic rules and laws from days of old in the Bible, and we stone these people.
You think Funkos will eventually? I mean, they're dying, but do you think they'll die completely?
I don't think
No.
so. It has too many movie
Never.
IPs to where, if anything, there'll probably be a thing that happens that usually happens with the youth is like, ironically, it'll come back. Like the way that like some fashion from the early 2000s is kind of like, I feel like Funkos are going to come back.
Minions. That's what happened to Minions. Minion. I feel like Minions and Despicable Me and shit is like coming back into play for like liking it ironically. I mean that happened in like when the Despicable Me movies were coming out, but I think it's especially prevalent now. Uh Generally rare DVDs are going to be more exclusive, but the ones that I've seen that are crazy expensive are signed ones. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming is like, you know, like a rare or like a movie prop or something, but it's not something as crazy as like the Funko Pop reseller market or the Labubu resellers or like what is it now? The dumplings, the squishy dumpling toys. Oh god. When the last retail, like the last shop I worked at, oh, the Nidos. Oh my god. My store would sell Nidos and I would get phone calls all the time. Do you have Nidos? Do you have Nidos? Do you have Nidos? And the thing is these things had been just like languishing and collecting dust on the shelf for like 2 years that I worked there. And then all of a sudden everyone everyone is like, "Oh my god. I must this squish toy that tends to explode all the time and leak the guts out," which actually happened, by the way. Um, is I don't understand it. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. And the thing is, so it's like growing up. I mean, we also had those things. There's always going to be like some sort of like weird trend that doesn't make any sense, like Beanie Babies or like uh there was like a big thing for like razor phones when I was a kid, like growing up, like the razor Motorola phones, like the flip phones. That was like if you had a Motorola razor back in the day, you were like the coolest bitch on planet Earth. I remember one time I got so excited because I thought I was gonna get a Motorola razor, but instead I got this like weird yellow utility flip phone. But I ended up loving it because it looked like Batman, so I called it the Bat phone. Um, and then my mom washed it on accident. It was a sad day for tiny Alex. I'm rest in peace, Bat phone. You will forever be missed. You were a king.
Back in a weird way. Like the same way that people like nowadays are like, oh, I love Beanie Babies. It's like, who the fuck? Like, really? You want to collect Beanie Babies
You
now?
weren't even born.
I actually love Beanie Babies. Low key, I think some of the original Beanie Babies, they're like kind of like an ugly cute. Um, I love Beanie Babies when I was a kid. I have a couple of Beanie Babies. I think they're so silly. My favorite though right now are Pom Pals, which are kind of like Beanie Babies. Except a lot of the beads are like at the bottom. And they all look like they have big butts. They're so cute. I like yeah, that is one thing that I am consumerist for figures, not like the $200 ones, but like if there's like a $10 figure or $15 one, I'll get it. That's decent quality. Um and like plushies. Like I am not immune. I'm not immune to that, but you know, I do not complain when artists are selling the prices that they sell because I know it's different than a mass manufactured item. Anyway,
I think it's going to have that effect. The sad reality is that many convention goers will buy multiple Funkos from multiple vendors, which only encourages more resellers to show up and block out potentially unique or cool booths. Which also, I have to, I very rarely see people buy the Funkos. And if it is that profitable, I just feel like you would just see way more of them.
You think people are ashamed of carrying their Funkos around?
That's a very good point. I do. I think that there's a stigma now that I think, because you know, whenever you're like walking a convention, you're like walking by and someone's like walking by and they do like,
yeah,
and you're like, it's because of the Funko.
I'll put it in my bag.
Exactly. Now I have a big black bag I put all my Funkos in. Look like fucking Krampus leaving the Comic-Con.
I was gonna say, like,
the Funko stash. Your secret Funko stash.
Funkos are mass produced, so I mean, granted, there's rarer ones, but like, buy them online. Like, why are you going to a convention and like being like, oh, I don't have that Funko?
I mean, I get it. Probably is a thing where it's like maybe they're not available online. I'm just playing devil's advocate of like maybe it's also just the thrill of the hunt.
Okay, that's fair.
Right?
Part of it is thrill of the hunt. There's actually what is it? There are some things that I collect that I don't purchase online because I love the hunt of like going and seeing it in person. Cards. So like the Cookie Run trading card thing. I've only bought packs of trading cards for them like once, but I much prefer just seeing them like in person. And like hunting them and that kind of thing and finding it. It's a lot more fun doing that than just buying it online. In a lot of cases. So that's definitely, I can understand that. However, you could not catch me dead paying hundreds of dollars to go into a comic convention and buying a Funkos. I think if that ever happened, I think yeah, I would be hiding my Funkos like a little rucksack and going to another country.
It's fair. People like going.
Yeah, I mean, there's things where it's like I could get online, but it's the idea of being like I come across it one day somehow feels more special in some weird chimp-like thought pattern that I have in my head. I don't know. While the San Diego Comic-Con and other large conventions have their own problems and controversies, there are a bunch of smaller local cons that are just as bad, if not worse. The biggest problem that many small comic conventions face is not having the money or the staff to put on a proper event. Superfan Comic-Con was a local comic convention held in Toronto, Canada. In 2014, that was a complete and total disaster.
Oh, no.
Organizers of the event estimated that there would be over 15,000 attendees, which drew many vendors and celebrities. However, on the day of the event, only 2,000 people showed up, causing many of the main attractions to pack up and leave due to low sales and feeling misled. Which, considering how expensive it is to lock down booth space, this is especially bad for those trying to actually make a living doing like the circuit and stuff, right? Also, people like a Toronto thing, I wonder how many people actually flew.
Oh, yeah.
Flew out of country to go there.
I would say most of them.
Also, 2,000 people is so small. Like in the grand, like I'm trying to picture how big the space is. Like the one in Kansas City, it's like in a huge convention space. I'm wondering if it's like just how empty and quiet was that convention.
Very awkward, yeah.
Part of the reason why vending is so expensive too is because depending on the venue itself, and the convention center, they love hiking those prices up for events. I'm sure there are people who own convention center buildings who are making a killing from just hiking up the price, and you know, the convention is just gonna trickle down to the artists and the vendors, because you know, God forbid.
Yeah. Also, packing up early would kill me.
I would just stay for the whole thing.
Fuck it, I'm already here. I'll just leave my booth unattended and go like hang out in Toronto or something like that. A year later, at the Fanfare Comic Convention, numerous celebrity guests canceled their appearance because the organizers didn't have enough money to pay them to show up. And this has been a growing problem in the industry where even C-list celebrities were asking for like a shit ton of money and personal services to appear at conventions, making it harder for small cons to get good guests. Which also, here's the thing, fuck the celebrities. What's insane and totally criminal to me is that, like, let's say like a Matthew Lillard, whatever. That motherfucker's probably getting like 50 to 80 grand to show up for a weekend, right? And then he's having you pay 100 to 150 bucks to what? To sign a picture? To take a selfie with them?
Is that
I 100% agree. I'm sorry, my hot take. I 100% agree. I like if you're if you're being paid that much and you're already charging 150 bucks, you're probably making like 100 to 200 grand like per con, and you are already paid millions upon millions of dollars. Like I don't I don't get it, man. Like I said in last stream, I'm sure it's a lot harder than it looks. I'm sure there's a lot of organization that goes into it. I'm sure, like, yes, you are talking like as somebody who is neurodivergent, sitting and talking to the same person and saying the same thing and hearing the same thing over and over and over and over again would drive me fucking crazy. So I get it. I understand. Um, but bitch, I am not gonna fucking charge like I don't get it. I don't get it. I genuinely don't. Like, what do you need that much money for?
The con making him do it though.
I think it's just him. I think they're saying that by you coming here, they might take a small cut, but I doubt it. I bet you they're paying him and they're like, you can come here and then you can charge people to do that because we know that we're gonna put your face on a billboard and then it's gonna drive a shit ton of ticket sales is what I think it's gonna be. Yeah, it's just a way for them to drive ticket sales. That's all it is. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
make that bread, I guess. And if people are willing to like pay for it, who am I to say? I don't know. Despite not having the same resources, smaller cons still have tons of cosplayers and interesting characters who can ruin other people's experiences. While at a small con, a man in cosplay was waiting for his wife to return from getting an autograph when a morbidly obese, acne-ridden couple approached him and started taking
No.
pictures. The woman who had a horrid stench yelled, "I want all that!" and took a picture of his ass before walking away. Did we have to dig into their looks that hard?
You have to paint a
Yeah, why do you gotta I'm getting weight and acne ridden. I think I think a woman walking up to me and just going, I want all that," and then taking a picture and then walking away. I think that would be more of that would be more of a problem. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. Maybe it's just like because I'm a fucking fat dude. Um, I'm like a fat dude with facial hair. I'm not in the what is it? The creeper market, you know? So I haven't really had any creepy interactions, but my friends, I have friends who are like more, I guess you would say, like conventionally attractive, and there are 100% a creep problem in fucking cons, like especially with guys. And a lot of it just has to do with the fact that, like, it is a Comic Con. There are going to be nerd guys there, but there's also going to be a lot of people who are neurodivergent, and sometimes they just can't fucking take the hint. That's not an excuse, by the way. It's an explanation. Just because you are neurodivergent or you have autism or ADHD or bipolar or whatever does not give you the right to make somebody else uncomfortable, um, and creep on them and constantly come up to their booth all the time and flirt and that sort of thing. Please, for the love of God, never fucking flirt with an artist in Artist Alley. I, bro, like it's the same concept of like flirting with your barista or flirting with your cashier. I will always have this take. If you want to like ask someone out on a date, like you see a worker and you think that they're cute, at least this is my opinion anyway, and you think that they're cute or whatever, and you're talking to them or that kind of thing, and you might think that they're into them, never ever ask them out on the date while they're actually working that job. Like, obviously there are exceptions to this rule, but as somebody who has worked in customer service for like 10 plus years, um if anybody, like, if any customer, by the way, not coworker but customer, came up to me and asked me out on a date, like, I would feel so incredibly uncomfortable, like, personally, because it's just like i I have like it's just kind of weird. I like, cuz when I'm working, I'm showing a personality and everything that is not the same as the personality that I share in private, like with friends and that sort of thing. Even when like I'm streaming, like this isn't 100% me. This is like, it's a persona. Like you don't actually know me. And walking up to me and asking me out on a date or that kind of shit is just like, it's just so weird. Like, um, like, and uncomfortable, and it's just like, because usually people who do that tend to think that they're like, that the other person is like into them, when usually it isn't. And like I said, there's obviously exceptions to this. Like, I'm sure there are tons of times where people who are actually into the other person and they ask them out on a date. Like, basically, if the person who's working gives you their number and and asks you out, then that's fine. But I don't think that you should ever ask someone out while they're working. Like, especially at a customer service job, because they are literally paid to be nice to you. I'm sorry to say this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all the guys out there who have a waitress that they go to every day or whatever, and they think that they are in love. I'm sorry. They're nice to you because they're being paid to be nice, and you don't actually know what their opinion is of you, but you will know if they ask you out. I'm just saying. Um, I went to AMKE a few years back, and this teenage girl kept jumping on my back and kissing my face. It was one of the first cons too, so I didn't know what to do. See, like that shit. I like. I've had friends who like do really good cosplays, and people will like hug and kiss them without their consent and for photos. Um, like I've, and it's like, it's not. I think it's gotten better, but it's just now, it's just kind of like insidious. Like, it's kind of quiet. Like that random guy who keeps coming to my friend's booth every 5 minutes and keeps trying to ask him out for dinner, or like the guy who just lingers there just a little bit too long. Like, it's definitely an issue, but I think if you I think in that case, I think the one way is just to kind of name and shame, but don't shame people based on their appearance. That's not cool. Like, I don't think that, oh my god, this ugly fat motherfucker came up and was such a fucking creep to me. It just that's not cool. Um because when you say shit like that, then it's like, you know, you're gonna tangentially hurt people who look like that, who aren't that in that personality. Um and and it like, I understand that you're trying to like paint a picture of a villain, right? But in doing so, you're making fun of that person's looks and things that they can't really, they might not be able to control. um so maybe don't do that. You can just say like, this bitch. I think probably one of the funniest con interactions I've ever experienced, though, and I wasn't even um there to witness it, was this guy who, I was helping somebody table who sells a lot of like Final Fantasy 14 merch, and they had like a connecting charm of like Rahatia with food, right? Because like in the game, he loves to eat lots of different food. He's a foodie, and he's like, this is offensive. Grahatia doesn't eat. What does that even mean? Have you played the game? Grahatia doesn't like food. It still makes me laugh to this day. Like, yeah, you obviously see this guy fucking have an entire cutscene where he's like chewing on a burger and is going like crazy for it, and him excitedly eating tacos and shit. And you're like, he doesn't like food. This is like this is fat phobic because someone liked food. Well, I sure hope he likes food, otherwise he wouldn't fucking be alive.
Picture.
Also, at a certain point, which this is obviously, I'm not saying that overtly sexual, but if you're into cosplay, like obviously going to someone and being like, oh, I want all that, it's a bit much. But I mean, are you not opening up people to just like take a picture of you?
Yeah, I feel like if you're at a convention,
No, don't
as
get me
long
wrong.
as it's a normal picture.
No, don't get me wrong. There are etiquettes to it. I've seen people go up and they're like, do you mind if I snap a photo? Which is extremely polite. But I've also seen people like
Yeah.
walk by and they'll like wait till they're behind someone and then like take photos of them. Not necessarily sexually of like their ass or anything, but I just mean like that they didn't want to have the
interaction.
Yeah. Which it's like just so much creepier. And it's so obvious too, especially whenever the old
It's
guys
so
like, hold the camera
weird.
like this.
Yeah, there's always like some random old dude like walking around with a camera or like I've actually while tabling I've had people like who are like actually live streaming and and uh and like going around and like and live streaming and that sort of thing, which you are technically in a public place. At least when you're a vendor, you usually sign something saying like, oh, I'm allowing the con to take photos and stuff, and the con will come take photos and that kind of thing. They always tend to ask, which is really nice. Actually it was it was really funny. I keep waiting to see it, but there was one time I was like I was away from my booth and my booth helper was there, and while they were talking they just kind of did like a thumbs up to their face image, and some like con guy, like one of the con workers, like passed by and was like, oh my god, that was amazing, can you do it again and I'll take a photo. And I keep waiting for it in the promotional material. But I've done like promotional material for cons before. It's like it's fun. I don't necessarily really mind it. I know it's like technically public, but yeah, if you like, but there's a difference between someone just like live streaming or whatever because they're a streamer and like that's how they make their money and they're going to the con, or they're like streaming to call their friends to like show the cool stuff in the artist alley and like and that sort of thing. Um but you but then like but then there's like that this random person just randomly taking photos of a specific cosplay, you know which ones I'm talking about. Then it's like that's kind of weird, but I can kind of like um I can kind of understand where he's coming from. I do think that you should just always ask for photos personally, like never just take a person's photo without their consent, even if they're in cosplay. I'm of the cosplay is not consent, but unfortunately, some people don't have that same thing, and it is going to happen, and it is something that you kind of just have to expect when you're cosplaying. Um, and sometimes it's funny. Like one time, I cosplayed as a maid Ghostface for a horror convention, and one of my friends took a photo of me coming out in a maid Ghostface cosplay with Taco Bell, which honestly, that's really fucking funny. So
Adjust their glasses. Oh, what's also with when old people take pictures? They always have to look at it and then suspiciously look around. Have you noticed that? Every time I was at Comic Con, anytime someone they'd be like, it makes it seem like they just took a picture of something they shouldn't have.
Yeah. Making sure they didn't get caught taking the picture.
This guy just took a picture of me standing there. I looked at him. I said, "Oh, what's up, man?" And he didn't say anything. He just
walked away.
Can't even say hi to me. Fuck's sakes. One of the biggest attractions at any comic convention, big or small, is the celebrity panel, where guests can meet and interact with their favorite movie stars or comic artists. If you thought you could just walk through the doors when the panel starts, be prepared for a disappointing weekend. Regardless of the size, lines for these talks usually take hours, or even a full day to stand through to talk to one of these motherfuckers. In advance, with many fans pitching tents and sleeping overnight to hold their spot, to talk to like a guy from Supernatural. One of the actors from Supernatural. Oh, God, I hope I meet him. I love your show. Thanks. Oh, whoa, that was amazing.
I mean, they cut people off, right?
Oh, yeah.
They realize like, oh wait.
I think there's a literal count. Like I think that that's another thing with the con.
They don't. There are some cons that don't. They don't cut people off. The Emerald City did not do that when I waited for Mr. Hirsch. I talked about it yesterday, but yeah, some of them they don't cut it off and they just deal with the angry people and give refunds. Which sucks. I do appreciate stars who do try to make a memorable experience. Like they try to chat or talk about something. Um they they try to give a somewhat memorable experience within the tiny time slot that they have. That is something that I appreciate. I've had some memorable moments with with guests or whatever, but like a lot of like I guess you could say like micro celebrities or whatever. I don't think though, even if like um even if like fucking, and this is coming from a guy who likes Supernatural. I don't think even if Jensen Ackles was fucking there, I wouldn't even bother. I'd just be like, whatever, man. Like it's just not like, yeah, okay, cool. You're in a show that I like. Okay. Um I think literally Alex Hirsch was the only exception. That was literally the only exception where I would do that, where I would, because I've like looked up to that fucking man for or I loved his show, and like um Gravity Falls was like a huge, if it wasn't for Gravity Falls, I literally probably wouldn't still be drawing. Um so, something that was like that important to me, I would, and he still gave. Even I talked to him for like 2 to 3 minutes, and it was still a really memorable moment. Um, and I really enjoyed it. I do think that there are some worthy things, but all in all, I do kind of, I kind of agree with with Hunter here. A lot of it's really overblown, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
Will do is be like, on these specific days, how many people are you willing to sit through? And the other actors will be like, I don't know, how many are willing to pay? And after a while, though, I think that they do cut it off because they don't want to block shit, but I don't know. Because this is so common, most venues have specific practices to help prevent lines from getting out of hand. Line capping is when staff temporarily stop people from getting in line. Otherwise, they would...
They did this at FanFest, which I really appreciated. By the way, FanFest 2026 in Anaheim was probably one of the, and this is a con I just attended, okay? Is one of the most smoothly run conventions I have ever gone to. The merch line, and I went there early, right? They had specific times or whatever. There was a mistake. They did accidentally release the merch line reserve spots early, which kind of stunk. But so if you weren't lucky enough to know that, then you were kind of fucked. Which that sucked. But like, but in terms of the actual organization itself, like the merch line, I was able to get my merch within like under an hour. Getting my badge, like, well, there was thousands upon thousands of people. Like, people lined up early because they thought it would be like a shit show, like it was at the Las Vegas Fan Fest, but it wasn't at all. And me and my friends, we literally just chilled in the like waiting for the hotel room, and then we just walked across, and maybe like an hour under an hour to get my badge. um that was it. The lines were capped for all of like the activities and that kind of thing. um everything was just like super organized, very ADA accessible. All of the staff was really kind and and thoughtful and nice. And I later learned, and I learned the reason why they were so nice was because wowie zowie, it's almost like if you pay people to work your event instead of making them be volunteers, they actually give a shit or something. It's crazy stuff, brother. Like crazy. No clue how that could possibly happen. Damn. Excuse me, I'm just trying to fix this. Okay.
Wrap around the entire con venue and sometimes even out the door. And most venues also have security guards and staff walking up and down the line to prevent people from cutting or to stop fights. What remains is a cramped graveyard of nerds sleeping in the cold so they can be the first to receive their next hit of Marvel slop dopamines. Jesus, dude. Motherfuckers getting personal in this document. Holy shit. People camping out just to, like, you know, be able to interact with somebody that, I mean, at this point, though, you would have to assume that these people are like, I love this actor. You know, it's weird, though, is, I mean, a lot of people I hear they wait in these lines for hours, and they're like, yeah, I mean, I like that one movie they're in. It's like they're not even that big of a fan.
Oh, that's
It's so
bizarre.
weird. There's some people where they're, like, shaking and they'll cry. Like, and I'm like, hey, obviously this means something to you
Yeah.
that we don't understand, but to just be so casual, like, oh, there's nothing else better to do.
Well, there's
It's
some
kinda
people who
crazy.
are like, oh, I don't know him, but he looks popular, so I gotta meet him.
Yeah.
There's like people like that mentality of FOMO, like if I don't do this, I'm missing out on something.
Yeah, I'm gonna regret it.
Guy said that to me at the convention.
What?
Well, he like went up and he's looking at the line that you had, and he's just like, who is this guy? What, is he popular? I was like, oh yeah, we're kind of popular. We have a YouTube channel. Anyways, was talking to him. He's just like, I don't know you guys, but I feel like I gotta buy something from you. I feel like I'm missing out.
I've had people say it to me, and I'm like, you absolutely don't have to do that. If anything, it'd make me more comfortable if you just didn't do that. I feel like you're just popular, I gotta buy something. I'm like, that's like the opposite. You should go to somebody who's not doing super great and help them out. You know what I mean? I'm still like a
I really appreciate this from Hunter. I gotta say, big kudos to this dude. I think he seems like a real chill guy. Yeah, I'm of like, because I'm of the same opinion. Um, like obviously I'm not as large of an account as he is by any means. But it's just super cool to hear him say, you know, like, uh, maybe, I'm doing fine. Maybe help someone else. Like it's very I 100% agree. If I ever got to like that size, um I think I would say the same thing as like, yeah, like I appreciate all of the um you know like having fans and that sort of thing. Like I'd appreciate it and everything, but if you don't know who I am, or you don't, yeah, like go support somebody else. Like honestly, like if I ever got to a point where like streaming in my business where I made like so much money that literally like I would be like set for life forever or whatever, um I don't I would literally just like just stream for the love of the game and not make any money from it and just not really care. Like and just be like it's purely for the love of the game, baby. Um and just like make enough to run the business, and if I had employees and that sort of thing. Like that's the goal. Uh that's the dream, baby. Also, why am I so small? Why did when I move myself did it just fucking make me perish? Good lord. Anyway, I do think the Margaret figures is very cute.
toy,
Very
like an
funny.
oven toy. I just, here, take it. Take the wallet. There's no amount of time that's too much for passionate fans. Some are so dedicated, they'll go to great lengths to meet their favorite celebrity. The line to see Jason Momoa at the Basingstoke Comic-Con was a total disaster, as the event organizers overbooked the panel, leaving people waiting over 12 hours to get inside. To make matters
I
worse,
could
Jason
never.
left after one day despite being scheduled for the whole weekend. And numerous
Like, bro, why would you do that? That's like one thing I'm just like, why? Like, unless obviously if it was something like I have a family emergency or that sort of thing, I would understand. Um, but like if you're actually booked for that and you just fucking just leave, what do you need to do? Where do you need to go? What is so important? Like you've already been paid. You've already been paid whatever. Just fucking do your fucking work. God, it's not that hard. Like, unless.
Staff members were physically attacked by guests in line after being forced to hold their place in the sweltering heat. While those who stood in line were justified
Okay.
in being angry, the actual temperature.
Yeah, I don't fucking punch staff. It's not their fucking fault. Usually these guys are just like volunteers who just do this because they get a free ticket. You know? Like it's not their fault. And I know you're just mad and you just want to take it out on somebody, but like I don't know, be mad about the star who fucking left even though he was paid to do it. Like obviously unless he had a good reason. But like don't be mad at the staff.
Was only about 77 degrees. And the report of the disaster claimed it was akin.
Okay, listen. 77 degrees can be different. If it was 70, where was it? Where was it? Like, what Comic Con was it?
Here, take it. Take the wallet. There's no amount of time that's too much for passionate fans. Some are so dedicated they'll go to great lengths to meet their favorite celebrity. The line to see Jason Momoa at the Basingstoke Comic Con was a total disaster.
Basingstoke Comic Con. Where is that? Excuse me. Oh my god. Basingstoke Comic Con. Where the fuck are you? Hello? You don't say where you were at. Oh, Newbury. There's a Newbury race course. I'm like, oh, this is in the UK. It could be different. So like in the UK, if I remember correctly, in the UK, the temperature there uh is kind of like the climate is very similar to like Washington State, where like a lot of the time it's like 60 to 70 degrees. So when you're acclimated to that weather, if it gets to like here in the Pacific Northwest, if it gets like if it gets 77, that's hot. Because usually it's like 50 to 60 degrees throughout most of the year. And we don't have like AC or air conditioning. So if you're like a person who's not like acclimated to that kind of weather, then that's gonna be bad for them. Uh, personally, that's like one of my others. Actually, so I can kind of understand why if people were upset if it was in the UK and they're sitting in the heat. You know, like it's also kind of like a humid heat too. Be gone, phone.
The event organizers overbooked the panel, leaving people waiting over 12 hours to get inside. To make
12
matters
hours
worse,
is crazy.
Jason left after one day despite being scheduled for the whole weekend. And numerous staff members were physically attacked by guests in line after being forced to hold their place in the sweltering heat. While those who stood in line were justified in being angry, the actual temperature was only about 77 degrees. And the report of the disaster claimed it was akin to Firefest, which blew it way out of proportion.
A bunch of nerds complaining. Oh.
Jason Momoa, I'm getting sunburned! 12 hours for Jason Momoa? Is that worth it?
No.
Besides
No.
like Khal Drogo and Aquaman, has he been in anything else? Minecraft, actually. Never mind. Minecraft. Conventions can often be a flood to the senses. It's not just loud sounds you have to worry about, however, because the stench is even more powerful. Like other events, comic conventions are no strangers to the smell of body odor and feces.
Oh, the fucking smell, man. Oh, the smells. I literally, it's a common meme in the artist group chats that I'm in, that whenever Whenever I'm at a comic convention and I'm like, just smelled the first BO of the day, I'm home. Mmm. Mm. Like, which, by the way, like, I'm a fat dude. Being fat comes with being stonky sometimes. You know. You know how it is. Um, but, but, like, you have a personal responsibility. Like, oh god, the Taco Bell farts. Like, so, this is gonna be a hot take, but I don't listen. Yeah, farts are stinky and smelly, and yes, you can complain about it, but I think holding in like farts and shit like that is like, um, I isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's like bad for you. Like, obviously, like if you're in an elevator or whatever, don't fucking fart. Like, hold that shit in. But like, it's gonna fucking happen. We're human. It's embarrassing, but it's gonna happen. Like, it's an acceptance, and yeah, you are allowed to complain about it. However, there is a difference. There is a smell, okay? A smell I have smelled many a time in my life. It is the smell of someone who hasn't bathed in perhaps a year, and it is quite bad. Which, by the way, also, you're in Comic Cons. A lot of people are neurodivergent, and a lot of neurodivergent people have trouble with hygiene, um, and that sort of thing. It just comes with the territory. It comes with acceptance. However, like I said, not an excuse, not an explanation. It's just a fail on whoever like raised that person. Um, it's a failure that they have to fix for themselves. Uh, but yeah, there's definitely a smell. There's definitely a certain smell that I have smelled many, many, many a time at a con, and it is quite pungent. And I I try my best not to recoil when I smell those smelly smells, because I assume that it's just, the person's probably just needs help, because no one actually wants to like smell that bad. But like, unfortunately, I am very sensitive to smell, and I think you could tell it on my face sometimes when I smell the smelly smells that are smelly. Just please, for the love of God, deodorant or just a perfume can do some wonders, man. I know with by the way, FanFest, there were a lot of memes about like it being really smelly and stinky. I only smelled smelly stuff like for 2 seconds, but the AC was like so strong in the venue that literally like I would smell it for like 2 seconds, and then the AC would just like ass blast the ass smell and obliterate it into nothingness. And then there would be no smelly smell, like, then the stink would be gone. It really wasn't that bad. Most people smelled fine. I even like I made turbo sure though. I like double put on my deodorant. I put on my perfume. I like made sure that I smelled. I single-handedly will defeat every stinky smell. Um, but uh but it's just, yeah, shit happens. People can be stinky. Learn to bathe, please. Like, to please bathe. Please wash yourself, for the love of God. Wash your clothes once a week. Wash your bed sheets once a week too, like, or twice a week. Um, for the love of God. Uh, especially if you have. I recommend doing it once a week, especially if you have animal, if you can. Just because like animal stinky.
Sweating at a con is normal. You're walking around all day, sometimes in layers of cosplay attire that can cause you to otherwise overheat, right? Or even just the amount of body heat in there, you're walking around and it is what it is. People are going to sweat. However, It's hard to deny that some attendees are simply unhygienic, no matter how many people want to blame it on the venue's bad airflow. God damn, fucking turn on the AC. It's like other people have sweatshirts on. Jesus. For years now, people have complained to the event organizers about the smell, and even bring signs chastising smelly attendees that read, and I quote, "If you could afford the entry ticket, you can afford a stick of deodorant." Maybe that's just what people need sometimes, is a nice kick in the ass. At Comic-Con, however, you'll sometimes see things that make you question whether or not the attendees are even human. What? God damn. Well, at the New York Comic Con, numerous guests reported seeing and smelling smears of human poop right in the middle of the show floor. How?
No.
Who did this? I've seen some people do some sneaky shits, though, in public.
Oh, yeah.
Quickly pull out their pants, and they walk off, and people like step in it and stuff.
Or they do the waddle and they kick it out of their
They
pant
kick
leg.
it out of their pants.
Like, okay, like, sometimes something shit is just not gonna agree with you, and you might shart, you know? Like, I have never, in my entire, I have never, like, I have never experienced that. I have never, like, obviously, like, walking around in the city or whatever, you can smell, like, pee spots or whatever. But I have never run into that in my entire life. Not even working. I have smelled probably like almost every drug that exists. Uh, I like I've seen some like messy bathrooms, um, and smelly bathrooms, but I have never in my life seen or had to clean up someone else's human feces. And honestly, if I ever had to do that at any job, regardless, I would probably quit. I think I heard that one was actually throw up and not poop, which makes a lot more sense to me. Okay, that one makes more sense. I did have one time when I worked at Target, um, and this was when I was like 17, like this dad walked up with his kids, like with a kid's toy, and right when this bitch hands it to me, he's like, "Oh yeah, like, oh yeah, so my kid threw up on that." Like, it wasn't handed to me. It was like when it was about to hand it to me. Like I was about to touch it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, my kid threw up on that." Sorry, man. Like, what the what the fuck? I understand when you're a parent, like kids fucking like there's all sorts of shit that come out of children, okay? Like there's throw up, there's pee, there's piss, you know, they can't control it, they're kids. I understand. Um but sometimes I think parents get desensitized to all of that stuff and don't realize that like not everybody has children. This is another hot Alex tip. If you have children and you're a parent, um and you have a your baby or whatever has something in their mouth or that kind of thing, just fucking wipe it down before you hand it to the cashier. There's so many times I had parents who like their kid had like a thing of chapstick in their mouth and the parent would just fucking hand it to me like covered in fucking disgusting slobber. Like, come on now. I think one of the worst was I heard that like sewage fucking leaked. I don't know if they talk about it in the video, but there was one convention where it was like a dirty water pipe, like a sewage pipe, and it had started leaking and it dumped dirty sewer water all over artist booths and like ruined thousands upon thousands of dollars worth of merchandise. Like I genuinely hope there was a lawyer that like came pro bono and those artists were able to like sue the shit out of the convention center. Cause oh my god, what a fucking nightmare. Nightmare fuel. Yeah, Katsucon. It was Katsucon with dirty poop water. It wasn't actual poo water. Yeah, it wasn't sewer water, but it was like it was gross water. It was like it was like I'm guessing it was just like kind of the water that like after you like people were cleaning or whatever. That's just what non-potable sprinkler water smells like whenever it sits forever and isn't used. Yeah, that's like horrible. What, I turned off the commissions thing. What the fuck? Whatever. And it sits forever and is yeah, it just yeah. We had something similar to that happen at my last job. So there was a guy who came in to fix like the sprinklers, and the sprinklers were connected to two different pipe systems, and he had only turned off one pipe system, that was it, like the pipe system that was connected to the sprinkler system in the store. But he didn't know that the sprinkler system was separate in the warehouse. So when he was testing some sprinkler water stuff, he accidentally turned on all the sprinklers in the warehouse and dumped it all over. And that's where we store like the furniture, because this was a furniture store, like a oh, oh, and there were still, like, I thought at first we were getting black mold, but I realized it was from the sprinkler water. Like, we would have like display shit, like, by the time I still worked there, by the time I left, that was covered in like this black, um like the blackened remains of the sprinkler water. It was so fucking nasty. I wasn't working that day. I was so happy I wasn't working that day. I think if I ran into that and I walked in, yeah, it would have been over. I would have quit way earlier.
The waddle and kick, you can get prison time for doing that shit, right?
Can you?
I would assume. For shitting on the floor?
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, like, that's got to be some type of act of bioterrorism, you would assume, right?
I've seen this one where this lady, she couldn't hold her diarrhea, so she like pulled her pants down and like shit and like the refrigerated like produce.
No.
People are so fucking vile. It's unbelievable, man. Not only did someone walk through it, but the staff believed that the person who did this dropped it while walking around the con as if it was smooth and subtle. Well, they don't know who it was, so it probably was pretty fucking smooth and subtle. Event staff.
God. If it was actually vomit, I sort of understand because you can't really control that. But why the fuck did you just like fucking throw up on the ground and then just not tell anybody? We had that happen too, where like in their store we would have people bring their dogs in, which like technically I, because I was a manager at this store, technically I didn't really mind it because like we didn't have like any fresh produce or anything out. Like, I think if you bring your dog that's not a service dog, just in general, I think it's kind of cringe. But but for some stores I think it's fine. Like, if you're gonna take your little dog into Michael's or whatever, like, who cares? Um uh where there's like no fresh produce or anything. But if you're bringing your animal in and there's like fresh produce and there's like food that's like not packaged and it's just like out, where like your fucking dog's hair or cat or lizard or what the fuck ever you have can get into the produce, um and like I said, it's not a service animal, um jail, jail, just jail. I do think it's harmful to have like non-service animals in general, but like I said, I didn't really mind it, and also I just like dogs. Well, anyway, a lady took her dog into the store, and uh and we found like poo, like literally on the mat outside the doors. And this one I wasn't working either, which was I all this stuff happened when I wasn't working. I think God himself was just like, it's okay, it's okay, Bill, we're gonna let you we're gonna give you like we're gonna give you a win on this one. But like the lady, like, no joke, and we thought someone thought they had first thought it was like actual human feces, but what it was some lady just let their dog just fucking shit on the floor, didn't clean it up, and then walked away. Like, what is wrong with you?
would block off area as janitors made their way through the crowd. They had to actively tell people to stop taking photos. Despite the sneaky attendees and crazy fans, comic conventions remain among the most popular kinds of conventions in the United States. Even though I will say, I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older, it feels like it's getting worse every year. Like, I have a feeling like after a while, it's going to completely revert to meet a celebrity. The title of Comic Con is, I feel like that has to go away soon, and it's going to just be Celebrity Con or something. It really is nothing more than a fun place where people get to gather and share their nerdy interests, meet others in their fan communities, and go home with some cool shit. If you can attend a Comic-Con near you, have fun, but be mindful and avoid bothering people. And for the love of God, bring deodorant. And also, dude, don't pay for the celebrity line, in my opinion.
I think I say don't shit your pants.
Oh, yeah,
too.
that should go without saying. I guess what I'm saying is this video just made me, it has made me an advocate for being like, I mean, who am I to say? I just like, it's never worth it. They're never going to say anything. You're going to walk up and it's like it's cool meeting people that you're like, I'm a huge fan of you. But at the end of the day, it's the conversation's 60 seconds, if that, and then you get to go off and do whatever. I don't know. I just don't.
I can name a con that's speedrunning the celebrity petting zoo allegations. Could you fucking imagine? Like, you pay $100 to, like, the celebrity, like, galloping around, and you're like, hand him a fucking thing of lettuce. Oh my god. Oh lord. As if people don't treat celebrities like people. I think I like I said, I agree with Hunter here. I don't think that most celebrity meet and greets are worth it. If you're a huge fan, I do think they're worth it so for me, what I do to make, like, if I'm like really into a celebrity like I did with Hirsch or whatever, is like, to make it special for me, I like giving gifts personally. To people I really admire, and like having somebody that was what was really cool meeting Hirsch for me. Was uh was having him see my art and compliment it, because I really looked up to him as an artist and a writer and a showrunner, um and that made it really special for me. And just to see them enjoy like the gift or that kind of thing, and then it can create like a unique conversation piece or what have you, is how I personally make it special. I think when I met Cena Breyer, I was really nervous. It was like because like I had never done signings, so like growing up, I kind of I sort of grew up on film sets and that kind of thing. So like seeing stars or quote unquote celebrities and like talking to them, it's kind of a very unique experience. So usually when I did meet a celebrity, it was like when they were working and not necessarily like, at like something like a convention. So I had no idea how it was supposed to work. And I was really nervous. And I really like Cena Breyer a lot. Like, as someone who's also trans, I just and I like Wook Lamont a lot. Yeah, this is a Wook Lamont pro Wook Lamont Twitch. If you don't like Wook Lamont, like, that's your own thing. If you don't like Cena, that's your own thing. I'm not personally involved in any of the Twitter drama. I just it's on my thing. But I think it's really cool to have a trans person, especially a trans woman, voice a character in any game, and I get really excited. And I wanted to make that known to her and stuff like that. And that was like the main reason why I even wanted a signature. It wasn't just for the signature, but it was more to like have to just tell somebody that I thought what they were doing was really cool and important. And I think if you're doing the signings for that sort of aspect, then I could say it could be worth it, but not for 12 hours, not for 8 hours. Go if it's something that is really, really important to you, that has made a huge impact on your life, of course, go do it. But if you're just doing it just because you want a signature on a Funko Pop or fucking whatever, just to get like clout points, like, oh, I met this guy, I met this dude or whatever, which, I mean, honestly, I've like bruh, I've done that many times. I can't even say. But I don't know. It's just go look at cool art. Go buy something from an artist. To go talk to people. Go make friends. Um, you can also make friends in line. That's the one thing I do like about lines is I made a bunch of friends while waiting for Alex Hirsch and got to talk to a lot of cool people while I was waiting for him. So like the line experience wasn't all bad. Towards the end though, I definitely wanted to leave. Oh God, I just really had to pee. I was so hungry. I, I had there were so many bodily functions that I needed to get done when I was done with that. Um but I think but overall like ones are just kind of, they do it all the time and they're just there, you can tell usually if the celebrity is just kind of there for the money or what have you. It's not about like meeting fans and they're not like excited about meeting the community or whatever, which they don't have to be. I don't think that they do. I don't think that they're obligated to, especially if you have a lot of fans. But if they're, being like especially rude, like you are being paid to do the event, et cetera, et cetera. I definitely think leaving early is bad. And that sort of thing. But like basically if it's important to you, do it. But don't just don't like prop these people up. Don't like they're also just people. They're people who happen to do a job that's kind of interesting and cool. And that's and they play characters that you really like, but you don't know them. Like you don't know who they are. You like it's not like a parasocial thing. Um like obviously if it makes you really emotional, excited, of course, it's gonna happen. I mean, I was literally like shaking in my fucking boots when I was meeting Hirsch because like I was terrified. I've I've been a stereotypical fan to celebrities before and it's always been really embarrassing. So like I get it. I don't know. I do think that investing everything in the celebrities just kind of sucks. I've gone to cons where there are definitely cons that are you're celebrating it's more of a community celebration. Fan Fest 100%. Yeah, they had celebrity meet and greets and stuff like that, but like it was just kind of like in the back corner and it was more about meeting your community and having community events and with a game that you really really love. And I wish that their cons were more like that. And um another good one was like Gateway Fate. I had a lot of fun at Gateway Fate too because it was the same thing with like artist alleys and it was just like a bunch of people who just really love um a certain piece of media just coming together. And uh but these larger cons that are just the celebrity meet and greets, like you can tell it just feels soulless. um and you like there's definitely a change. I feel there's the like because I didn't table at Emerald City but I tabled at SoccerCon, for example, and usually I think it's even changing how people are buying things at like larger cons because like for example this both happened at Emerald City because I helped a friend table and at SoccerCon where Friday I had the best, it was the best sales, like people were buying buying buying. Saturday Sunday crickets. And I have a feeling it's because Saturday, Sunday are where the movie stars are. Because Saturday for Hirsch, I was there almost all day. I wasn't able to go into the artist alley almost like at all. And that was just for one celebrity. Like, so I think people, because these things are so poorly run, people are just like being stuck there. And then they're not shopping or doing the thing, which is more important to me. And so the people who are there just to get their signature or whatever usually don't care about art or that kind of thing. So if you have a lot of celebrities, you're just going to attract those kind of people. And usually the more celebrities that a con has, the worse my sales are, in my experience. So yeah, my first con was this tiny little con with under 1K attendees, and it was so much more fun and intimate because everyone knew each other. I miss small cons like that. Exactly. I love small cons. I love small community cons. and you can make plenty of money just doing small. One of my favorite conventions, and I'm gonna shout them out because they're my favorite. It's I didn't do it this year because I was doing SoccerCon, but one of my favorite conventions I've ever done, and will probably continue to do regardless of if I make money or not, is a small con called SquatchCon, and it is in Port Angeles, and which is a gorgeous little city, by the way, right by the harbor. Lots of fun little things to do, and it's just like because it's a small town, it's kind of like the only con that a lot of like people in the area are able to go to, because Seattle is like 2 or 3 hours away, or where that's where all of like the big events go are or whatever. But regardless, it's like, and it's just a community of people who just like stuff, and it's just, and there's usually not really stars or anything, and there's just like um and it's just people coming together and just talking about shit, and it's always super fun, and everyone's real nice, and the staff is really nice, and yeah, I definitely prefer those. And I think that's also why things like cup sleeve events are becoming more popular, is because it's like a gathering of something that everybody loves in a certain area. And I think more and more of that is going to become prevalent. And I think that these conventions are still going to exist, and they're still going to be like, the celebrity cons, but I think artists will, as they're making less and less money, they'll probably stop going. And I think the ticket sales, I feel like eventually the ticket sales are going to hurt the actual convention goers. It'll take a long time for it, but I think over time, because I think that's one thing, is that like consumers can be pretty smart, and they can kind of know when they've been had, and the more, yeah, sure, the first year that you poorly ran it, people are like, I'm never going to buy a signature signing or come here again or buy a ticket again. Yeah, it's maybe one or two people, but if you continue not to change, it's just going to make more and more until eventually you fall flat on your face and explode. And in the end, the only people who are really hurt are like the vendors and the artists that make their living trying to do this. And now like a big convention is gone, and then it's kind of like an Ouroboros. But like, you know what I mean? It's in general, uh I think it'll still exist and still happen, but I think it will die out, and artists will start going into more local things.
I don't think it's worth it. If anything, I would say try to go to some place where like look at the actual people who are like selling real art and try to pick that. At least for me personally, that's where I have the most.
Yeah, support artists.
It's fucking cool. That's also why I like local zine cons and all that kind of like, I don't know, that's like some hipster artsy shit. There's a lot of dog
It's
shit
fun.
stuff there too. But let me tell you, it's cool.
One of the events that I did that I made like literally maybe like $100. It wasn't like crazy, but I loved it. Was there's a lot of like comic book stores and stuff that will have either like outdoor or indoor pop-up events that you can go to. Like, you usually don't make a lot of money, but it's still really fun. And um I got uh I got some really cool zines that I really love from those places, and there's definitely people who want that sort of thing. You just kind of have to you just kind of have to go out there. um I If you're interested in doing cons and interested in doing this for money and that kind of thing, I will 100% say you have to like networking, and you have to like talking with people. um this also is the same for the film industry and the animation industry. Like, as somebody who literally, like, I don't know if it's the same these days, but I did talk to somebody recently, funnily enough, while I was in line for her, who works in the film industry now still. And some things haven't really changed. And the biggest thing is that networking is king, baby. If especially in the arts, um, it does not matter what your online presence is. Like, yes, if you have like a large following, you that can turn into dollars, of course, but that doesn't matter. Like, in the end, the way that you would get jobs and the way that you get into stuff is by talking to people, by chatting with people, by being fun to work with and good to work with. um uh and that will help your growth far more than um doing whatever the algorithm wants you to do in the end. Uh like there are artists out there who have like 40 bajillion followers and they are living off of food stamps. Like, which sucks that that shouldn't be the case, but it happens. That's kind of my, and it's the same, like I said, it's the same in the film industry. It's who you know, 100%, but you can still go like you can still definitely do like you did in the 80s where you just show up and you're like, hey, are you hiring? I want a job or whatever. There's definitely places. They're a lot smaller, they're very niche, but there's definitely places that you can do that. Um, and even in the film industry, especially if like some of the, I think most of the people, for example, like in the effects industry are retired now, but um there's definitely people who want to teach the old way to like the younger generation of artists and crew members who would definitely take people under their wing if you ask. um Obviously there are exceptions to this, and my knowledge comes is about a decade old, so it could be different, but I will tell you right now that online clout means nothing. It really doesn't. Hell, fuck. I have 700 followers on Instagram, maybe 100 to 200 on Twitter, and I've been able to go to conventions and table and do do make like over $1,000. It has nothing to do with that. It's partly luck, who you know, and but that's also how you get like freelance jobs. If you want to know how freelance jobs happen, usually it's you get approached or you talk to somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Like which I personally prefer. I hate modern day job application stuff where you just send things into the void with an AI reads it and shit. I fucking hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Despise it. Absolutely hate it. I Which is kind of why I wanted to move into this industry, because I much prefer like just yapping to somebody and then they're like, oh hey, do you want to do this job thing? And you're like, yeah, sure, why not? Like there are tons of conventions or events or opportunities that I wouldn't have known just because somebody told me about it and recommended me for it. So
Seeing local people in your community, especially if you're in like a flyover Midwest state or something, there's a lot of fucking cool artists in your area that might be making some shit where you're like, oh, this is sick. Especially if you are a fan of comics, there's like a lot of local comic people that you should check out their stuff. It's cool.
hell yeah.
So that's all I have. Don't go to Comic-Con. Is that bad? I will say, can I at least say this? At our Comic-Con, thank you to everyone who did come out. Everyone was super nice. Yeah. I couldn't believe the amount of people that just kind of showed up. We kind of sprung it out of nowhere, so it was a bit of a surprise, but people got to go and see Margaret and stuff. That was a lot of fun, and everybody was super fucking cool. So many nice people. So.
And the staff tried to shut you down.
The staff did try shutting us down and made it really awkward, but I think they were just doing their jobs too. You can't blame them. It is what it is. So. See you in the next one. Bye!
Okay. Oh my god. Hang on. No. Okay. Well, we finally finished that video. It took me almost 4 fucking hours to watch a 48-minute video. So that'll be interesting to edit.